Welcome back, folks. Gather round, gather round. It is so great to have you all back again. It's been about a year since we had this meeting, and it's time to go again. It is 2025, and we are between Zombies games, which means I want to rank all Zombies maps a year removed from the last time I did so. When I want to rank maps, I am looking at more of the Easter egg side of things than anything else. It's not exclusively that. If the map is fun to play, it's going to help even if there isn't an Easter egg or a good Easter egg in it. But if the Easter egg is straight up bad, it is going to drop it down the rankings. So keep that in mind. I'm not somebody who really cares as much about high rounds or cares as much if the story is good. Of course, the story can help, but it's not going to completely sway my interest. I am more concerned if it's fun to play and has a good Easter egg, or if there is no Easter egg, that is just a good survival map. So that's what I'm looking at when it comes to ranking maps. Going into this video, I've got two kind of goals that I want to attempt to achieve. The first one being, I want to make this video with less scripting. Last year, I had scripted the whole thing before going ahead and recording it. It ended up being like 28,000 words of a document. It was a lot of shit. I just want to try a different method this time of not scripting quite as much. I don't know if this will make the video better or worse, but we will find out. I've got some general notes and things I want to touch on, but other than that, I am going to go much more free in this video. Good luck to me. The second goal, because I did this last year, I want to do something I haven't seen done before and compare my rankings from last year to now. I will do this when I introduce a map in this ranking now by giving its current position, followed by also showing its previous ranking from a year ago. This will show you all where my opinions changed or remained the same. When it comes to large changes, I'll be sure to explain why that change happened between last year and now. Opinions can change, and I am not forcing myself to stick to the old numbers just for the sake of it. If I feel differently about a map this year, then I will move it accordingly. We've got 82 maps to get through. We are doing all mainline maps from every game between World at War and Black Ops 6. We are not including any like Wii versions or DS versions or anything like that. It is just the main maps and including Outbreak from Cold War. Everything else is ignored. We are not doing side modes like Onslaught, Turned, Rush, any of that. Just the main maps. So those are my two goals. You know what my goals are. You know how I want to rank the maps. So there isn't really much else to say other than kick back, relax, maybe grab a drink because we are going to be here a while, and let's jump into the ranking. Starting off our list at number 82 is Infection. This is going to be a good example of how new maps being added has kind of adjusted things by force. For example, this map is at 82. Last year it was at 75. The only difference being that this year it is the bottom map versus last year it was the second bottom map. So it dropped one spot, but it looks like it dropped quite a bit more. That's just because there's more maps in the list. So don't worry about the major drop. It's still just as bad as it was. It didn't change majorly between last year. But why does Infection suck? Well, it is annoying to play because you've got areas of the map getting shut down every so often. You've got forced objective rounds where you have to generally escort a civilian who sucks at moving and just will get murdered by the zombies, and there's not really much you can do about it because your weapons suck, because it's advanced warfare. Awesome. There's also the Goliath enemy, which has EMP abilities in the mix of it being a massive tank enemy. He is just incredibly annoying to deal with. There's really not anything good about Infection. It is an annoying map to play. There's not rewarding in any way. Its wonder weapon is okay, I guess. The Easter egg is making a fucking burger. Awesome. So I have nothing good to say about this map. It's one of the few maps that I genuinely hate. There's not a large group of these maps that I just hate playing, but this is one of them. It is now the leader of that group, and it's the worst map on my list. Moving on, at 81, we have the Tortured Path, which was previously my worst map at 76 last year. I still despise the Tortured Path. I just despise it less than Infection because it exists inside of World War II. I love the base mechanics inside of World War II, which is the only reason now that this is not at the bottom. World War II as a game plays really smooth. It has great loadout systems. I love how it is to play. I don't like most of its maps though, unfortunately, and the Tortured Path is the worst. Having it be 10 rounds across 3 different survival maps that are kind of stitched together in a sort of way is not maybe terrible, if you think of it in the world of Outbreak. Outbreak is just a bunch of maps stitched together, but that runs much better, and you can play it for much longer. This one just goes through those 3 maps, and then you're done, or if you fail a challenge at any point, it's an instant loss, and some of these challenges are kind of stupid. So it makes a very annoying process to play the map. There is really no enjoyment for me playing this map. I don't like it, and I don't want to ever play it. It makes me never want to play it. I look at it and I go, I will play almost anything else but this map. Please do not make me click on that map. I think if the challenge failure was not an immediate game over, it would make the mode a little bit better, but it's still just not very engaging to play. And the Easter egg is also not very engaging to play. So there's not any reason for me to want to play this map. It stays very close to the bottom of the list. Number 80 is Bus Depot, previously at 72. I get it, some people might think that's extremely low because it's not an offensive map, but the reason it is this low is because it literally has nothing going for it. It is a small area with some lava, there's a mystery box, no perks, no pack-a-punch. It's very boring. A map that takes the having nothing formula and does more with it is Nacht der Untoten, because it is in a game that is better designed for having nothing. Just because it is a little bit more rough around the edges, it ironically actually works better for this situation. Black Ops 2 having absolutely nothing equipped on your person just doesn't work as well, and it's not very fun to play, and for that reason, it is very low on the list. There isn't anything here, not really anything for me to say. That's it on Bus Depot. Number 79 is Duran Fong, previously 73. Duran Fong is a map that doesn't really have anything good within it. It is a challenge-based map, which is not as well done as Outbreak because the challenges you do are not very fun. You get reduced points for zombies kills because it is this Outbreak type of mode, sort of, stuffed into a sort of round-based map, sort of. It's kind of like a Frankenstein, and it's dog shit. I don't hate playing Duran Fong, but it is extremely limited. So we're shifting out of hatred into extreme distaste, if you want to call it that. Playing this map is fun for a short time, but you will quickly find that going to the same exact portal every single time after, I don't know, about round 10, it's going to get boring. It doesn't feel like there's any sort of variation. Once you get fully equipped, it is just not fun to keep doing these challenges. A few of them are very stupid. The transmit one is pretty dumb at times. The harvest is kind of fun. It's a little bit different at least. It's just not very engaging to play. It's a problem when my favorite thing about your map is the tier 1 pack-a-punch camo, because I think that looks really good. The Easter egg is not fun. It's very boring. You basically just do portals as you would normally and touch a few things in the map, and then that's it. There's a green portal that opens up which you can't even interact with anyway. Oh my god, wow. No rewards, no nothing. That's it. That is the entirety of Duran Fong. It is just not fun to play. There are things I like, but those parts shine better in the round-based maps of Vanguard, which we'll talk about those parts when we get to the maps that do it better. For now, Duran Fong, bottom tier map. Number 78 is Nacht der Untoten from Black Ops 1, which was previously at 71. Nacht der Untoten is a map that thrives in World at War because it is bare bones and that game works within that system. It also works well within Black Ops 3 because you are able to expand the map more through gobblegums if you so choose. Black Ops 1 gives you Mule Kick and worse Black Ops 1 weapons. Pair that with the better spawn systems and better zombies mechanics of Black Ops 1 and it makes Nacht der Untoten nearly unplayable or unenjoyable. It's not fun to play it in this game. I would rather play Nacht der Untoten in any of its other 2 versions, and that's it. Black Ops 1's version is not fun. Number 77 is Terra Maledicta, previously 64. This is one of the first maps to take more of a tumble compared to simply adding more maps that pushes it down. This one is comparatively dropped quite a lot from where it was last year, and to be completely honest, my answer for why that happened is whoopsie. It ended up higher than I realized last year, and I'm not sure exactly what happened there. It's not like it went very high, but it definitely shouldn't have been as high as it was, so this is more of a correction back to what it should be. Terra Maledicta is just Duran Fong Part 2. It's the same problems, and the only reason it's a little bit better than Duranfong is that its Easter egg is a little more enjoyable, and you actually get some in-game rewards for doing it. You get some weapon drops, salvage drops, stuff like that when you finish the Easter egg, versus Duranfong, you literally got nothing. So Terra Maledicta is a smidge better than Duranfong, but that's it. So it stays very low on this list. Number 76 is the Darkest Shore, previously at 70. The Darkest Shore, I don't really understand why people like it very much. There are a few people out there who I've learned since last year do actually like this map, and I don't see it. It looks ugly, it's not very fun to play, its wonder weapon isn't very fun, collecting spines is very annoying and finicky, the Easter egg itself is very annoying to do, especially as a solo player, which I am 95% of the time, especially on the older games. I don't have people that I can go back and play these with, so when I go to try to play them and experience them so I can rank them accurately, I am faced with some very annoying Easter eggs, and that's kind of a trend of World War II itself, is that the Easter eggs most of the time are very difficult to do by yourself. Darkest Shore is one of those. The boss fight is just the map mini boss done as the boss, which isn't very fun. Firebase Z did the same thing. It's not very fun when that happens. It's not a fun map to play. It's just not. World War II has better, and we are going to leave this one right down here where it belongs. Number 75 is the Beast from Beyond, which was previously at 69. The Beast from Beyond has cryptids in its zombies game, which doesn't really make sense to me. But I will say I am a fan of Extinction, so I should love that there are cryptids here. But I don't, because it doesn't really make sense. Infinite Warfare was a game that was very good at sticking to its theme for each map and rolling with it. The Beast from Beyond, yes, technically it would make sense for it to be cryptids because it's more of the future map of the game. I still don't like it though, and I wish they just left the cryptids out and put them in an extinction mode instead of trying to bring them into zombies, which just doesn't work. You went 4 maps with zombies, and then on the 5th one you tried to mix in cryptids, and it just didn't make sense. You also brought back the other issues from maps, like, let's say, the Kung Fu zombies. Those came back into the Beast from Beyond, and they are much worse here. Thank you for that. They were the reason I don't like Shaolin Shuffle that much, and now you brought them into the Beast from Beyond to make it even worse than it already is. The Beast from Beyond is just not that fun to play. Its Easter egg isn't very good. Its boss fight is interesting, but not very good, and I don't have anything good to say about the map. I really don't want to ever have to play it. Number 74 is Shangri-La from Black Ops 3, which took a major drop, previously being at 57. I was already upset with the map last year, and as time has gone on, I've just become less and less forgiving towards it. The only thing that Shangri-La in Black Ops 3 does well is that it looks really good. But looks don't matter if the gameplay isn't fun. The regular version of Shangri-La has parts of it that actually work and make sense. There is PhD, which is awesome. There is the baby gun, which actually works. Those two things make the base version of Shangri-La so much better than the Black Ops 3 version, and I don't understand how they possibly messed this up so bad. Chronicles is a great addition to the Zombies universe and a great addition to Black Ops 3, but they dropped the ball hard with Shangri-La. The baby gun, you get stuck on the babies now instead of just moving along as you kick them away. They didn't bring back PhD for whatever reason, and overall, it is a majorly inferior, I don't even think that's English, it is a inferior version of the map, and it is not the one that you should play if you're looking to play Shangri-La. Number 73 is Shinonuma from Black Ops 1, previously at 66. This suffers pretty much the same issue as Nocturne and Toten in Black Ops 1, where you end up with the Black Ops 1 arsenal, which has worse weapons, instead of just having the better World at War weapons. The spawning system does not work as well for people trying to do high rounds. The zombies mechanics themselves don't work as well for somebody trying to do high rounds, and as a whole, it plays worse than the regular version of it from World at War. Why would I play this when if I am a high round seeker, I'm going to play the World at War version, or maybe the Black Ops 3 version, or if I'm somebody that wanted bang for my buck and I got Black Ops 3 and Chronicles, now I've got the Black Ops 3 version, which is also better, and again opens the door through Gobblegums to even more customization of your play session. So there's really no reason to play the Black Ops 1 version. It's not that this map is god awful, but it doesn't have a home, and it really doesn't belong anywhere in the zombies world, therefore it's way down here. Transit takes the 72 spot, and last year it was at 59. It did drop quite a bit, and I don't even know why I let it get so high last time. It really shouldn't have, because this map still sucks, and I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt last year, and I shouldn't have done that. This map is flawed in almost every single way. If there was a mistake to be made, it was made. The buildable system is not fun to utilize when you can only pick up one part on this massive sprawling map. You have zero control over the bus. You just have to stand around and wait oftentimes, or run through the fog and get your eyes clawed out by denizens. Power works except for with the Pack-a-Punch, where you have to put down your turbine and hope that it doesn't get taken out by zombies by the time you get over to Pack-a-Punch. And then in that case, if it is broken by the time you get there, you got to go around the entire map again, place your turbine and hope it stays, keeps Pack-a-Punch open, and you can actually utilize it. There really is nothing that good about this map. I don't understand why they're bringing it back for Black Ops 7, or at least using the inspiration of it. Black Ops 2's Transit is gross to look at, it's not fun to play, everything you want to do takes way longer than it should because of how the map is laid out, and depending on the bus, you just kind of have to wait around sometimes. It isn't fun. The Easter egg is not fun, and I wish that this map would just go away. Number 71 is Urzikstan, which I have a feeling quite a few people are wondering how it even made it this far. And that is because it is not super annoying to play. It's not very fun, but I don't get annoyed when playing it, and that's the difference between it and some of the maps below it. I like aspects of this. I enjoy being able to choose to bring in some equipment that you saved from a previous match to get you ahead earlier in your next match. Maybe you're going after a harder quest or challenge and you want to bring some stuff to get off the ground quicker. You can do that. You can plan for that and equip those things before you go in. Or you can just work through the story bit by bit, doing the acts, and that is a completely different method. Urzikstan, as it is made, is a completely different zombies mode, which doesn't mean it's terrible by nature, but it's not super great. You spend as much time shooting people with guns than you do shooting zombies in your zombies game. That's a big problem. It's limited to an hour long. I don't really understand that. I mean, I do, because they're doing it like a Warzone type thing, but I also just wish you could play it as long as you wanted. I wish there was a way to do a true solo play mode. That would be pretty interesting to see how that worked out. It can be very frustrating trying to do a challenge and you simply aren't getting the drop that you need, or you aren't getting the thing to spawn that you need, and you spend many matches just running around hoping that eventually the thing you need spawns so you can get a challenge done for the act. That can be frustrating at times. But hopping in and just playing this map, doing a quest, maybe not even worrying about a quest that much, but just hopping in, grabbing some gear, getting out, doing it again, getting some better gear for the next map, pushing into tier 2, trying to push into tier 3, trying to experience that different kind of difficulty can be fun if you go at it with the right mindset. If you go in wanting to hate it, yeah, you're going to hate it. It's different, and it's not going to be for everybody, but give it a chance, and it actually could be decently fun. However, it is lacking a lot of depth. It is lacking a lot of zombies-ness to it. It is the most Warzone zombies that we have ever had, and I hope that this isn't something that really comes back, though it is fun for a one-time deal. Number 70 is going to be Dead Ops Arcade 3, down from 60 last year. I'm not the biggest Dead Ops person in general. I like it, but it is not something I play very often. It's not my main thing when I play zombies. Dead Ops Arcade 3 feels like it took the formula too far, which makes me worry what they're going to do for Dead Ops 4 in a few months here, but Dead Ops 3 just has a bit too much going on. When I play Dead Ops Arcade, I just want to hop in, have some gimmicky fun in third person, sometimes first, and shoot zombies, collect some things, get through different areas and regions, and move on with my day. Dead Ops 3 has so much going on. It's a massive map. There's so many side areas you can go to, so many different side type objectives and activities to do. I just don't really enjoy it very much. So for me, it's my least favorite of the Dead Ops. It's not terrible, but it's not for me, and it's going to be low on the list because of that. Number 69 is Outbreak from Advanced Warfare, which was at 65 before. This was the introduction to the Advanced Warfare Zombies mode. It came with DLC 1, so the game only ended up having 4 maps for zombies because they didn't start with one at release. But this was the first map, and it is a standard zombies map. Simple layout, easy to pick up and learn, and you can just hop in and play the mode. It's got an Easter egg, it's nothing complicated, it is there if you want to do it. The problem, just like every other map, is you got EMZs, you got weapons that suck, and it's just not as engaging to play because it fails at the one thing it's supposed to do, which is have exo movement be the primary feature, but when you use it, you get destroyed for doing so. So, just like the other maps, it's not very high on my list. Outbreak was originally one of my favorites, but now it is my second least favorite, second worst, third favorite, however you want to say it. It's just not the best. I would rather play a lot more other zombies maps than I would play many of the Advanced Warfare maps. Number 68 is Die Rise, down all the way from 54 last time. I come to realize that many of these maps that are now lower here are simply because I find them annoying to play. This is not saying that you can't like Die Rise or any of the other maps I've put low, because I know there are many people out there that do like these maps, but in my world, this is an annoying map to play. The only two things that it has going for it are the Sliquifier and the fact that there is a jumping jack bonus round, or a challenge where you can have perfect accuracy and get a free perk. Those two things are cool, but otherwise, the map is annoying to traverse. Again, the buildables suck because it's one part at a time. You have the elevators, which you again have no control over, just like it's the transit bus. You just have to wait for them to get where you need them to be. You don't know what's going to be in most of the elevators. They added Who's Who, which is probably the most useless perk on planet Earth. Die Rise just didn't do a lot of things. It has a Sliquifier, which can be really fun, but that is not going to carry me all the way through enjoying a map for very long. So it's going to be low on this list. Nowadays, I got no reason to play this map. If I'm going to play it, I would probably play a Black Ops 3 modded version of it, and even then, it's not something that interests me that much. I just don't really like Die Rise. Number 67 is Carrier, down from 63 last year. Carrier was, for a long time, my favorite of the Exo Zombies maps, but it is no longer the case. And in fact, I don't even like it that much anymore. It's got two things that I like, just like a lot of other maps where there's only a few things I like, and it's not enough. In Carrier, the Wonder Weapon looks cool. The functionality of it is cool, with it being a laser beam that slowly rotates. It looks cool, it's fun to use, but it's weak, because every gun in Advanced Warfare is weak due to its upgrading system, which is just... Then there's also the Plinko machine. So, let me tell you this, when your map is well known, and probably most well known for having a Plinko machine, yeah, you might be in for a low rating, because that is not enough to carry a map to being a top tier map. Carrier is just like the other ones. It's got the EMPs, it's got bad weapons, and it's not that fun to play because of any of those things. So, it's going to be low. 66 is Verrucht from Black Ops 1, which is down slightly from 62 last year. It's been a little bit since we had a Black Ops 1 port on this list, so let's get back to that and talk about this Verrucht version. Okay, there's not much to say, to be completely honest. It's got the Black Ops 1 arsenal, which is not as good. They brought in the Winter's Howl. Okay. It sucks. Thanks for bringing that, I guess. Perks work as they should, which is helpful. Verrucht is still fun to play, it's still eerie, but it's not as good as its original, so it's going to be here. 65 is Farm, which was 61 last year. It is the second best survival map that came with Black Ops 2. It has perks, but it does not have Pack-a-Punch. It at least allows you to go a bit farther. Double tap will help you get your weapons a little stronger. It is a map that I've played quite a bit of through the years. It's still fun to play once in a while. Just hop in, simple training, hang out for a little while, and move on with your day when you're done. Farm is a good survival map, but it's not the best, so it's going to be low on the survival map tier list if you're comparing within my list. It will be seen that maps that are much more survival only focused are going to be a bit lower on my list. I still like them, but I prefer, again, having Easter eggs, having a boss fight, something that definitively can end my match versus just me leaving the game or forcing myself to die. That's why these maps are a little bit lower. Number 64 is Derice from Black Ops 1, down from 55 last year. This is the last Black Ops 1 port of a World at War map. It is the best of them because Derice is the best of those 4 maps. However, the reason I don't like this is, again, Black Ops 1 Arsenal, but also because the geometry of this map seems a little bit jagged, and for some reason I constantly get stuck when I'm trying to move around, and it causes me issues where I go down because I suddenly can't move when I'm in the middle of an open area. Some weird piece of the map is in my way and blocking me. It happens so much that it's become an actual problem of mine with this map and makes me actively avoid wanting to play this map. So it's Derice, it's awesome, I like Derice, but it's definitely the worst version of Derice, so it's down here. Number 63 is Descent, down from 48 last time. As with all the other Exo Zombies maps, I'm just liking them a lot less as time goes on. So with Descent, we have a lot more to say than I have for a lot of these other maps, so let's start working through that. The layout of this map is pretty straightforward, but it's a long, stretched out map. Thankfully, having teleporters on either end of that map makes it feel not quite so terrible. You can jump back to either side pretty quickly, so that's a good way to manage the map size. The best part of this map is easily the Oz boss fight. It's the first Zombies boss fight, and for what it is, it's good. I really do like it. The only part I have a problem with in it is the generator part. So if you get EMP'd, you have to go around and hit 4 generators to bring back power in that room. It's a bit annoying and tedious, but it's not terrible. So that being my only real complaint is a good sign for that boss fight. The Easter egg is pretty annoying because it bounces between steps that are totally fine and good to steps that are really annoying, like having 4 AI versions of your characters chasing you with guns. During that sequence, you're just running for your life because these guys have full-on weapons. They're shooting you at range, doing a ton of damage, and you can't do any damage back because your weapons all suck. It's not a greatly designed Easter egg, and I wish that it was a bit better because Descent was the best thing they could do with Exo Zombies, and it's still not that good. There's potential there, but it's squandered by the game's design on top of it that just brings it down. Number 62 is Dead Ops Arcade, down from 52 last time. Dead Ops Arcade is a simple game mode. How you unlock it is creative and fun. I love that you can interact with the menu in that way, and great, we'll never see that again because Call of Duty is boring now. Regardless, Dead Ops Arcade is a fun mode. It's a completely different take on zombies, and it brought in a whole different vibe to the zombies world that we hadn't seen up until that point, and I'm all for that. It is chaotic, but it is chaotic fun, and that's important, is that even though it is insane and difficult, it's really fun to play and work through. It's not something I play a lot. I am not a big Dead Ops fan myself, but I appreciate what it is and what it does for the zombies community every time they bring back a new iteration. It all started here, and thank you Dead Ops Arcade for being what you are. Number 61 is Alpha Omega, which is down from 58 last year. It is still low, just like last year. I do not really have anything nice to say about this map. In fact, right now I'm going to reuse something that I said about it last year because I think I still like that line. So let's do that one quick. Last year I said this: a reimagining of a reskin. We took Nuketown, reskinned it into Nuketown zombies, and then reimagined it further into Alpha Omega. Somehow they made it worse in every way. So I said that a year ago, and I still stand by that. It's just become this convoluted mess of you had a map that was simple like Nuketown Zombies, and that was fun. I like Nuketown Zombies. And then you tried to super complicate it with Alpha Omega, and it just didn't work. Even something as simple as Pack-a-Punch is annoying because it can be blocked at any point during the match. You have to go find the valve that's blocked and open it up again so you can now use the Pack-a-Punch once again. Once Pack-a-Punch is open, it should stay open. Even if it moves locations or something like that, that's fine. But if I have to keep working the entire map to keep opening it constantly, that's annoying. I don't like that. The layout of this map is Nuketown expanded, except for you might as well not use half of it, because if you go to the lower half, you're just going to be hit with Nova Bombers, which is not cool. Or now if you go up top, you have the Jolting Jacks who are just sitting on the roof sniping you the whole time. There's not really a good place to go in this map. I'm a huge fan of the Mark II myself. These versions are fine, but mostly I just don't care because it's in this map. The Avogadro being the boss of the map is at least cool, and story-wise, this map did well. That's a pretty good trend of some of these Aether maps within Black Ops 4, is that the story is really damn good, but the gameplay is just not. That is Alpha Omega. Cool story, bad gameplay, worst Black Ops 4 map. Number 60 is The Tomb, which has no previous ranking because I made that last video before Black Ops 6. So what does The Tomb do for us? Not much. It's a very small map, it's very basic. The best part of the map itself is having the Dark Aether Nexus in the middle of the map, which looks cool. I like the visual style. I just wish there was a little more to that area of the map. The Tomb reuses the Ice Staff, it reuses the Mimics, it reuses Amalgams and Doppelgasts. There's nothing really original about this map at all. It's the simplest Easter egg on planet Earth. You upgrade the Ice Staff and then you do 4 trials, which are made completely trivial because you already upgraded the Ice Staff. They are so unbelievably easy. Then you have the boss fight, which is just a horribly designed boss fight which is not fun to engage with, because if you get hit by the boss at any point, you're essentially screwed. You get stun locked by it, you can't move, you can't defend yourself for a few seconds, and you've already got a bunch of HVTs on you, so it's going to be very difficult if you get touched even once by the boss to recover. The tomb doesn't do anything for me. It can be good for high rounds, and that's about it. And as I said before, I'm not really a high round person, so the tomb doesn't do much for me as a player. It stays quite low. Number 59 is the Frozen Dawn, up from 68 last year. It's up because I had just made that ranking last year right off the back of playing some of these maps, and I was quite annoyed with them. I was less so this time with the Frozen Dawn. I was able to go at it a little more chill, and I do like this map. I had hoped it would be a bit of a better finale for World War II, just because those mechanics are so good inside of that game. I had hoped that they could figure something out. They didn't quite get there, but it's not a terrible map. If you were to just play it as a survival map, it would be pretty good. And that's a common trend of a lot of these maps down here, is that as a survival map, if you ignore the Easter egg and everything, it would be pretty fun, but I just don't like the Easter eggs that are attached to them. This is an example of that. Having to upgrade melee weapons for the Easter egg quest, and they're not even that fun to use, it's just not very fun. I don't like that setup for the Easter egg. It was not something that I enjoyed. So for me, doing the Easter egg is kind of an arduous task, and then you do get to a boss fight, which is good. I just don't like all the lead up to get to that point. That's my only problem with this map, and that's what keeps it from being any higher on this list. Number 58 is Shaolin Shuffle, down a touch from 56 last time. Shaolin Shuffle added quite a few new mechanics and things into the Infinite Warfare system, and a lot of those don't really work for me. The Kung Fu styles, those are cool, but the rest of the map kind of not that good. I don't really get this map. It's not one that I jive with very well. They have a special round of skating zombies, and they're fine. They're just a reskin of clowns. But those ninja zombies are just dreadful. I don't like them. They're annoying as shit. They teleport everywhere. They're very hard to deal with because they just gang up on you and are bouncing all over the place. Then you have the Rat King, who also spawns more of the ninja zombies, and even if you try to make it so that you're fighting the Rat King when there's just one zombie left, he'll force kill that zombie, start the next round. Now you got the Rat King, now you got your zombies from that normal round, and you have the fucking ninja zombies coming at you from all angles. I got annoyed fighting the Rat King very quickly in this map, and it's something that I can't get over. The parts of the Easter egg which don't involve the Rat King are cool. Some of the codes, there's a ton of stuff going on there. One of them has over like 50 codes that it could potentially be. I think that's really cool. Adds some variability and some challenge to solving the Easter egg. The final boss being the Rat King is totally expected because he is all over this map up to that point. It's a decent fight, but it is still just the Rat King, and I'm not that interested in the fight. It's more of a mid-boss fight, so it's not terrible, but not very good in my opinion. There are definitely better maps within Infinite Warfare Zombies, and this is down lower in that group for sure. Number 57 is Shinonuma from Black Ops 3, which is down from 49 last year. This version of Shinonuma looks amazing, just like every other Chronicles map, but it's missing the identity that made Shinonuma be what it is, which is the high round map for most players for the longest time, and still to this day is a map that people want to go to high rounds for, because it's relatively easy. As long as you've got the time, you can do it on the World at War system. Black Ops 3 doesn't have that side to it. What it does have is Gobblegums, and the ability to take your match further just by doing that. Not by using the Flogger and doing all those things. You can just use your weapons, get better weapons from the box, get them pack-a-punched, get your wall weapons pack-a-punched. You can get your guns upgraded and play for longer in a more interesting way than you could with the Black Ops 1 version of Shinonuma. So this missing the high round potential that the World at War version has means it's not ever going to be higher than the original Shinonuma, but it is still a good version and it's fun to play. 56 is Nacht der Untoten from Black Ops 3, down from 47 last year. This is a version of Nacht der Untoten which is fun to play. Nearly as fun to play as the original for me, because there is just a little bit more to do. I like Nacht der Untoten. I also really like the Black Ops 3 version of it because of the Wonder Fizz and the Gobblegums being added, and the weapons of Black Ops 3 being generally fun to use. Comparatively to World at War, they're similar. The Black Ops 1 weapons are just significantly worse, which is why all those are way at the bottom. So Black Ops 3's Nacht looks amazing. It's a different visual style. You know, the World at War version is much more horror-based, and the Black Ops 3 version is much more mythical-based. And I like both styles of this map. I think that Nocturne Toten from Black Ops 3 is a fun map to play once in a while, and is a good way to change how Nocturne Toten felt from its original. I mentioned that I thought Nocturne Toten Black Ops 3 was just about as good as the original, and that's because at 55 is Nocturne Toten, the original, which is down from 46 last year. They were paired last year as well. They're paired here again. I enjoy both of these maps for different reasons, and I don't think that any of the versions can take over Nocturne Toten based on what they've done so far. But the original map is a classic. It is the starting map of zombies. No matter what, everything that came after only exists because of Nocturne Toten. Does that mean that it can be a top 10 map just because of that? I don't think so. There's not much there. It is really rough around the edges, but it is owed some respect because it is the grandfather of all maps after it. I will always respect Nocturne Toten, but it will not end up in the top half of my rankings, probably ever, just because it's simply too old and doesn't have enough going on in the map. Not hating it, just being realistic. 59 is Forsaken, which was a major drop from 39 last year. What happened? Well, Black Ops 6 happened is really the correct answer here for me, is that I had liked the Cold War maps a little bit more, but now that I've had Black Ops 6, which generally has much better maps, I realized that maybe those Cold War maps were even worse than I had first thought. Forsaken being the first one here, and it is just a showing of how tired the formula was of Cold War at this point. Facility map after facility map, this one was just ripped out of the campaign, and it is so boring to play. I don't care about this map. The only two things that I care about within this map is the Crystal Axe, which is a great wonder weapon, it truly is, and the story. The narrative is awesome, it's great, it wrapped up really well at the end of this, but nothing inside the map is actually fun to achieve that. The layout sucks. The gameplay sucks. The Easter egg, not enjoyable. The boss fight, basically more of a scripted cutscene than a fight because it is very straightforward and simple, hardly even a fight. There's just not anything to Forsaken that I can really hang my hat on and say it's amazing. What Forsaken does well is it has that wonder weapon, and it has the very base level mechanics of Cold War, which are generally fun to engage with. Just going around and shooting zombies is enjoyable to an extent in Cold War, which helps this map from being a total bottom tier map, but it is low on this list at the end of the day. Not a great ending to Cold War. When they had the opportunity to at least do something good at the end, they floundered and ended up dropping a Forsaken on us. 53 is Verrucht. Last year, 53 was also Verrucht. It did not move even a little. Verrucht is a map that will show you how intense zombies used to be. It is a horror-filled asylum with screams all over the place. There's just endless zombies coming after you, and it feels kind of helpless being in there. It really sets the tone well for the map. That's my biggest highlight of the map, truly, is that it's just got a great setting. The rest of the map it's totally okay. It's got perks, it's got a split spawn system, it has power. These things are great. It was a slow burn introducing new features into zombies. This is where we got a little bit further into the zombies formula. It's not a perfect map, but it is fun to play, and it's going to be here on the list. Number 52 is Dead Ops Arcade 2, which is down only one spot from 51 previously. Dead Ops Arcade 2 is my favorite iteration of the Dead Ops series. It keeps that simple fun that the first version had, but it adds a little bit more. There's just a little more to do, and it adds some extra layers that are really fun to engage with. The first person part of it is an introduction that's new. I don't really pick a side when it comes to that. I think it's fine that it's there. It's not like better because of it, and it's not worse because of it. Again, Dead Ops is not something I engage with a ton, but if I am going to, I'm probably going to pick Dead Ops 2 because it's just the most fun for me. 51 is Firebase Z, all the way down from 32 previously. It's another big drop for a Cold War map, which is not surprising, and tell me if you've heard this before, but the biggest reason to play Firebase Z is for its wonder weapon. The Reiki is really cool. The rest of the map, kinda not so much. There is the Orda defense steps, which are awesome at first, quickly grow boring. The Easter egg has one of the worst steps ever with the Mimic step. It's just infuriating to do. It's not, like, hard. It's just annoying and often is finicky when it comes to activating the trap. Sometimes it just won't activate, and then the stupid Mimic is running around. You got to pick the thing up again, try it again, throw it down, try to capture the Mimic again. It's just annoying. Not my favorite setup for an Easter egg ever. Then the final boss is just the Orda again, which is not very fun. Hello, please give me something else. At least its boss fight is a little better than like D Machine, just because D Machine's boss fight is not a boss fight at all. But it's still not a very good boss fight, so I can't give it much credit for having that compared to nothing, I guess. Really, Firebase Z, the reason to play it is to have the Reiki, and otherwise, not much of a reason to hop into this map anymore. Number 50 is Attack of the Radioactive Thing, which stayed in the same spot of 50 from last year. Attack of the Radioactive Thing is a map that has some great elements to it, but it is actually dragged down a bit by its Easter egg being too complicated. I am generally for Easter eggs that have more to them and are a little bit more difficult to do. You already heard me complain about how the tomb is the easiest thing on planet Earth. I like the Attack of the Radioactive Thing Easter egg more than the tomb, but it isn't one of my favorites just because there is a little bit too much going on. I'm okay with having a little sheet of paper and some notes on it for doing an Easter egg. I don't really like that I'm going to have to take pictures of multiple signs throughout the map while switching between the color gradients of the map so that I can see certain things to then piece these all together. It's just a bit much, and I don't think that we need to go quite this far when it comes to getting a complex Easter egg made. Outside of that, just playing the map is pretty cool. The Crocs are a cool enemy. The rest of the map, it looks nice. It's got a nice style to it. I just don't totally enjoy the Easter egg a ton, and that's what keeps it from being a top tier map, but I still like it. I think it's a good map within Infinite Warfare. This one's going to be a little bit more rapid fire. There's not much to say about these next 3 maps. We're doing the 3 survival maps of World War II. So Chapter 1, Bodega Cervantes is our 49th map. 48 is Chapter 3, Altar of Blood. 47 is Chapter 2, USS Mount Olympus. Last year they were 44, 43, and 42 respectively in the same order. Bodega is a very simple, straightforward map. It's just in a field, not much going on there, but it's still good because of the World War II mechanics. Altar of Blood is a bit of a different setting. It looks cool. Again, fun to play, simple and straightforward. Mount Olympus is the best and a little bit different than the others just because it has a dynamic map with cars shifting across the map as it tilts and turns. I like that part of it. That's the reason it's above the others, is that it at least has something a little different going on. But that covers those 3 maps, and let's move on. 46 is Shangri-La, down from 31 last year. I was much nicer to it last year. I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, try to give it a better rating just because I can see the potential of the map, but I still just don't totally enjoy it myself, which is why I'm keeping it near the middle in the meh category of things. I want to like this map. It looks great, and it has one of the coolest wonder weapons ever with the baby gun. I just don't really enjoy the gameplay loop of this map, and it keeps me from wanting to play it a bunch. Having all these super tight corridors, and then you mix in the Shriekers and the Napalm Zombies, which are just annoying. You could have put them in other maps and they wouldn't have been so bad, but you put them in a map where they directly go against how you're supposed to play, which is on the move throughout the map. They make that even harder than it already is, and I feel like that was an unnecessary extra level of difficulty that they didn't quite need to put in. However, the reason this map isn't lower is again because of that baby gun. That thing is so cool. Being able to shrink the zombies, and you're not actually doing damage to them with the weapon. You shrink them, and then you just run through them and kick them all over the place. That's really fun. I like that. So, for that reason, Shangri-La stays in the middle of the pack. 45 is Blood of the Dead, with easily the biggest jump so far, all the way up from 67 last time. I got a lot of surprising backlash for putting it so low last time, and this being here now is not a result of that, but I want to address those people. I don't overall hate the map, and even my low ranking last time doesn't mean I hated the map as a whole. What I don't like is its Easter egg, and that stands true today. However, I am giving it more favor now because it is a fun map to play if you ignore the Easter egg and just play it more of a survival style. That is where Blood of the Dead does things right. The Easter egg, not so much. It's a very frustrating Easter egg to do, and I just don't really care to ever do it. I prefer to not play this map when it comes to Easter egg stuff, and again, that's my thing, so if the Easter egg annoys me, the map's going to be lower. However, the Magma Gat allows this map to be higher because it makes doing high rounds fun and enjoyable. It's pretty cool to use. It's just like the Acid Gat from Mob of the Dead, making it a fun map to stay in high rounds for. Blood of the Dead commits a cardinal sin of a recreation, and it ignores the foundation of what made the map so special the first time, mainly in this case being the plane sequence and the Golden Gate Bridge sequence. The Golden Gate Bridge being entirely missing is insane to me, and having somebody tell me that it's because it's in a pocket dimension. Okay, great. I don't care that this is in a pocket dimension. It's still Mob of the Dead reimagined into Blood of the Dead. Just because it's a pocket dimension and they could do whatever they want with the map doesn't mean they should get rid of the most iconic part of the map. It should still be there in this pocket dimension part of the world, but they didn't do that. So I don't understand it. They didn't do it. I don't agree with the decision to leave out the Golden Gate Bridge. If I were to play this map just for survival, yes, it would be pretty enjoyable. But I don't do that. I play the Easter egg. The bird step sucks. The challenges are stupid. The boss fight is pretty good, but it's annoying to get to that point. I just don't have a lot of interest in Blood of the Dead. While it has risen a lot since last time, that's more due to the last time I ranked it, I was just coming off the back of having played it in the last week before that point, and I was still quite annoyed with it at that point. My blood-boiling anger has soothed since then, and now I'm looking at it a little more clearly. Still don't like the Easter egg. I'm going to get flack for that, but I still don't like the Easter egg. But as a survival map, it is good. So Blood of the Dead remains here in about the middle of the pack. 44 is Shinonuma, just one step up from 45 last time. Shinonuma is the original high round map. Yes, people did it on Nocturne and Toten, but it was Shinonuma that really opened the door and made people realize that it was that possible to get so far into the world of zombies. So they tried and tried and tried, and they flogged and flogged and flogged and PPSH'd and did everything they could to get there, and this was the map they did it on. It's not a complex map. It's 4 quadrants, 4 perks. Good luck. The rest is on you. It's a good map to just hop in and play once in a while. I played it a ton back in the day and never was good at it, never got very far, but I kept playing because I was having a good time. That's Shinonuma in a nutshell, and it's here at 44. Number 43 is Groston House, down slightly from 38 last time. Groston House is a great survival map in my opinion because of how it goes about being a survival map. If you just go in there, it's a small space, it doesn't appear that there's much for you to do, but there are a few small things that you can do which will expand the map's experience for you. There are some small steps you can do that will get you the mystery box, and then you can go a little bit further and make it so that the mystery box will give you all weapons that are pack-a-punched. This is awesome. It makes it so you can expand the experience a little bit further, and it quickly gets chaotic, so you're going to need those upgraded weapons. I think that Groston House is really fun. It's constantly sending you brutes, which makes it hard, but it is engaging to play. You are constantly on the move, and I think it's really fun for that. 42 is Verrückt from Black Ops 3, slightly down from 37 last time. This is one of those rare experiences where the remaster is a little bit better than the original. The only thing missing is that original art style. Within this version, you get access to more perks, more weapons, you get access to Pack-a-Punch through Gobblegums, you have a good training spot to work through, just like the original map. It is a simple map, there's not much to do, but this version gives you the most options possible without changing how the map works. It is a tight map, you have to be on your A game, and if you flounder, you will be caught and you will be killed. I think that compared to its original, this is a Chronicle map that shines better than its original. 41 is Classified, down from 40 last year. So Classified made sort of the cardinal sin similar to Blood of the Dead, where it brings back a map that people like, and then it misses on some of the key features that people liked from that map. Mainly the big one with Classified is they are missing the Pentagon Thief. That is a no-go for me. I'm not even the biggest fan of 5 myself. I like it. It's obviously higher than Classified because it strikes up the idea of 5 better than Classified does. But that Pentagon Thief is a huge part of what makes 5 so recognizable and what people like about the map. You remove that from Classified, and that's a big piece missing to the identity of this map, which kind of makes Classified feel a little bit hollow compared to 5. Outside of that, you've got that Easter egg, which is pushing into super high rounds just to be able to complete it. I don't really like that system. I prefer one where it's a quest followed by a boss fight or a final encounter and then you're done, versus getting to round 150 just to get the final cutscene, and that's just not as engaging or fun because most people don't really have time to sit around till round 150, especially on a game without save and quit. So Classified does some things well. I like that it expanded the map from 5, made it a little bit more fleshed out, added the spawn area from Moon in there. There were some good things there. The Winter's Howl got a buff, which was nice. It's still not very good, but it is better than it was. So while it did some things right, it also missed on the core features that I think should have been there if you're going to do a 5 reimagining. So that's why Classified is here. Number 40 is Town, down from 36 last time. Town is a classic survival map. There is nothing really wrong with it, but I think that it has some slightly frustrating features. Really, it's one slightly frustrating feature, and that's the lava. It's just annoying to deal with. More annoying is the zombies that get on fire because of it, and just the entire match you have zombies blowing up in your face. It's not the most enjoyable thing, but as it stands as a survival map, it is really fun to play. It is something that a ton of people played, especially during the launch of Black Ops 2, because the other map we had to play, which was Transit or Bus Depot or even Farm, they just weren't as good. You didn't have access to the Pack-a-Punch and perks on those maps quite as easily, especially in the case of Transit, or at all in the case of something like Bus Depot. So Town really stood as the leader of Black Ops 2 for quite a long time, but as it's gone on, I don't find it as enjoyable to hop in and just play this map. There's not much to it, and that's okay. It's okay to have simple maps. Town is not my favorite of the survival maps though, so we put it at 40. I already feel the hatred flowing. Number 39 is the Archon, down slightly from 35 last year. I actually like this map quite a lot. It's really enjoyable to play, and that is because it is a round-based map within Vanguard, and I really like the base Vanguard mechanics. The maps look pretty nice on Vanguard. They have a good art style compared to most modern maps, which just look like nothing. So Vanguard has a good look to it visually. It has good flow during the match. The zombies are moving pretty quick. You are moving pretty quick, especially because of the stamina perk in that game being so cracked. You also have the Covenant system, which is easily my favorite part of Vanguard, where every match it could be different because you're kind of up against chance with what you're going to get when you step up to the Covenant altar. You may be seeking a certain Covenant the entire match and it just never shows up, so you end up being kind of forced into doing something else, which I'm okay with. It makes you change up your strategy once in a while. I'm a big fan of that part of Vanguard, and I think that if that game had more round-based maps, it could have truly been a great game. As it stands, it's just got, Duran Fong and Terra Maledicta dragging it down. However, the Archon is a map that can shine because it's round-based. It also has a decent Easter egg with some cool steps like capturing runes in a certain order that you have to memorize, which is a more classic style Easter egg step that I enjoy. It also has a great boss fight, which has a few stages and different mechanics throughout those stages. It's fun to play, and I genuinely like the Archon. Fight me. Number 38 is Outbreak from Cold War, down from 34 last time. Basically, I did not want to like Outbreak when it first came out, and I finally gave it a chance, and now I like it. It's a fun mode. That's kind of it. You can just hop in and play it. You push through the rounds, if you want to call them that. I'm going to, because I don't know what else to call them. Challenges. It just ends up being rounds anyway. So you push through the rounds and you can keep advancing. Once you get through about round 4 or 5 or so, you're pretty well set up. There's still a few things you probably want to get, but you're pretty well set up. You can do the Easter egg on this map, which is not really that good itself, but the final stages of that Easter egg are really good when you're actually inside that unique facility, not a part of one of the main maps. Like, it's its own new area for the Easter egg. Then you've got the boss fight against Legion, which is one of my favorite boss fights in Zombies. It is so cool. On a timer as well, makes it really intense. I think that they did really well with the Easter egg for this map, and it is easily the biggest thing that makes me like it even more now, is that it has that aspect to it. If it was just Outbreak and no Easter egg at all, I probably wouldn't like it nearly as much. But they did well enough to add in an Easter egg, and now it sits here at 38, sitting pretty. Number 37 is Shadowed Throne, up from 41 last time. This is where I get to thank my audience, a small audience, but I appreciate all of you. I get to thank you because I bitched and moaned twice about this map, and the dial step as well as the safe unlocking step being annoying as hell to do on mouse and keyboard, so much so that I was trying to flip between a controller and mouse and keyboard once in a while during my matches to do those parts. For some reason, I was too dumb to realize I could use shift to speed up the dials while on mouse and keyboard, and thankfully, after 2 times of crying about it, I had 2 people in my comments point that out, so thank you, both of you, if you happen to somehow see this video again. I appreciate the shout there and correcting me on being an idiot. So thank you for that. That actually helps me enjoy this map quite a bit more, because as it stands with the Shadowed Throne, I like its base mechanics. I like what it's got going for it. It's a pretty good layout. I like the idea of the Easter egg. It's got a great wonder weapon, an interesting boss fight location, a very difficult boss fight, but a cool location for it. So there were many things I liked, but honestly, I could not get over the fucking dials. They were pissing me off so much that it prevented me from truly enjoying the map in a way that I felt I should. There was just that roadblock, but now that roadblock is cleared, I like this map quite a bit more. I enjoy it, so it is in the upper half of maps now. Congratulations, Shadowed Throne. At 36, we have Liberty Falls. Liberty Falls is a solid survival map, but the reason I put it slightly above something like Town is because it's not as frustrating to play simply because of no lava zombies blowing up in your face. It has different issues, but they are ones that I am more okay with than just lava the entire frickin' match. Chief among them is boss spam, which just gets tiring over time, but I still can manage that better because all I gotta do is target the HVTs, or eventually just exfil after around 40 or 50, and then I'm done, and whatever, I've already played a long match, I'm happy to leave at that point. So, Liberty Falls has a nice layout, it's simple. I do of course wish it had more zombies elements to it with its visual style, but it plays fun, and that is important, especially for a survival map. It also does have a simple Easter egg, which is good as an introductory step to people who want to try doing an Easter egg, but are intimidated to do so on a map like Terminus, which I don't blame them. That's a difficult Easter egg to do if you aren't used to doing Easter eggs already. So Liberty Falls serves its purpose as a survival map really well, but it also gives players a way to get a step forward into the more intense side of zombies, and I appreciate it for doing that, which is why I let it be here at 36. Number 35 is Kino der Toten, down from 33 last time. What can be said about Kino der Toten? It is the classic survival map. It is one that pulled many people into zombies, myself included. I had played World at War previously on Nacht der Untoten, but then I never touched zombies again until I saw Kino der Toten. Somebody was playing it, and I was like, hey, I want to play that too. I played it, then I went and got it myself, and now I've never stopped playing zombies since, so thanks, Kino, you gave me an addiction. Appreciate it, bud. But no, it's a great map. It's a solid layout, simple. It's got the thunder gun, it's got the ray gun, it has the aura of being this theater of the damned. It looks great. It's really fun to play. Great high rounds. It started up the Black Ops 1 high round community and really started pushing that side of zombies again, where World at War started that, but then Black Ops 1 brought it to another level of people pushing these high rounds, and that started here in Kino. So thank you, Kino, for again giving me an addiction, and now I owe you the 35th spot on this list. Number 34 is Moon, down from 30 last time. Moon is a pretty neat map. I will give it that. It's a map I didn't like for a long time, but I've come around to it since then. What it has going for it is Hacker is a really cool, unique feature. It also has the Astronaut, which is a pretty simple mini-boss, which is difficult if he gets his hands on you if you aren't ready for it, but he is relatively easy to deal with, and for that reason, I think he is a great mini-boss. He doesn't bother you too much, and if you are annoyed by him, you can just kill him and he'll come back later, but he's not hard to get rid of if you want to. But back to that Hacker, it brings in so many different elements to Moon that are seen nowhere else in zombies, and I do kind of hope it stays that way. As much as we see things get reused over and over and over again, it is still nice to be able to say, look at this map from forever ago, and this thing, in this case Hacker, was never used again. I like that. That's a cool thing, and I hope that this stays true to Moon. I don't like the excavators just because they're annoying to deal with. They aren't hard. You hear the call out, you go, okay, cool, I gotta go turn that thing off. You pick up the Hacker, you stop it from destroying the map and blocking off paths. But doing that all the time through the entire match, it's just annoying to do. So I wish that after you did it once, it was over. Or it would be nice if there was a way to repair the damage after it was done, but alas, we don't have that. So as it stands, Moon is a fun map. It's cool. It's got a great Easter egg, one that really set down the path of more complex Easter eggs going forward. And for that, I appreciate it. Having an ending where you blow up the earth at the end of everything is sick, and I appreciate the fact that they went so balls to the wall with this map. Hopefully Modern Zombies does something like that one day again. Number 33 is Nuketown Zombies, down from 29 last time. Okay, I don't know why I'm addressing this now, but I feel like I need to now because I'm getting tired of saying that things are just a few down from last time. But really, that's just because these ones are relatively in the same spot as last time, but there were maps that were added above them that weren't previously there, so they all kind of relatively got shifted the same way. Me saying it went down a few spots really doesn't mean it was any worse than it was last year. It's just that it shifted a little bit, relatively speaking, within the entire ranking. I just wanted to say that, so don't worry about a lot of these maps slipping a little bit. It's not a big deal unless it makes a major slide down. Anyway, let's talk about Nuketown Zombies. So I know people don't like it because it has the perks coming down in random order, but for me, that's kind of why I like it. It's a very different experience. It's not like a Die Rise where you know the perks are going to be in the map, you just don't know where they're going to be, or a map where you just know where the perks are going to be. It is a different experience where you might have to wait to get the thing you want, which is Jug in most cases. You might have to wait a long time into the 20s to get Jug to drop. That adds an extra layer of challenge. It's not for everyone. I don't play Nuketown every day, that's for sure. But when I do play it, it's a fun challenge where I'm like, okay, oh, what is that coming from the sky? Is that Jug? Oh, great, it's Speed Cola. That's not very helpful. I don't need that right now. So for me, I like that part of it. It's a different style of zombies map, and I enjoy it. It's fun to play on Nuketown. It was, at the time, a still classic type of experience where we'd only seen Nuketown twice at that point in multiplayer, and now once in zombies. So this is the superior Nuketown zombies map, in my opinion, definitely. It's just fun to play. It's a good training map. It also has some story elements linked in where the events of Moon are happening at the same time as Nuketown. You've got Marlton trapped in the bunker as well. All of these things are good. I like it. Nuketown Zombies is a fun survival map, and I enjoy it. Number 32 is Mauer der Toten, all the way down from 15 last time. It took quite the tumble, and it's another example of Black Ops 6 just making me realize that maybe Cold War was not as good as I thought a year ago prior to Black Ops 6 coming out. Mauer der Toten is a fine map. It's relatively fun to play. It's got a good Easter egg. It has a great wonder weapon. Again, that's a Cold War typical thing, is good wonder weapon, moderately okay map at times. But the Cerberus is really fun to use. It's really strong, which is also awesome. Having Klaus in the map added a bit of personality, which was nice, so I appreciate that he was there. He also is an integral part of the Easter egg and story of the map, which is nice to see. Valentina being the boss is, for me, it was out of left field. I didn't really even know who the fuck that was, but, you know, now I know the story a bit better, so it makes more sense. But at that time, I was like, who? I'm supposed to care about this person? The storytelling of Cold War was piss poor, so this is an example of that as well. But the boss fight itself is pretty good. It's just a map that overall is good, and I'm not going to say much more about it than that. It's good. Number 31 is Shinonuma Reborn, down from 28 last time. Yes, this is my favorite version of Shinonuma. Why? Because again, I like Easter eggs, and guess what? This map has a fully fledged Easter egg in it with a boss fight. Booyah Kashad, that's my shit right there. Also, it is Vanguard, round-based. That's a W for me. I like that. This map looks really good. It works great with the visual style. It's dark with the glowing red eyes of the zombies chasing you everywhere. I like it. It's fun to play. This is a W map right here, Shinonuma Reborn. Using the Covenants is fun. Using the perks is fun. Using the weapons is fun. Doing the Easter egg is fun. Doing the boss fight is fun. I like it. It can't be a top tier map because it is a remake, but it is a really damn good survival map, and I appreciate what they did with Shinonuma, giving it an Easter egg and another level to it that we haven't seen in any of its 4 versions now. Yeah, think about that. Shinonuma is actually the most directly reused zombies map. Of course, we've seen Noct all over the place, but not as a truly playable map by itself. You know, D-Machine is not Noct or Untoten, Transit is not Noct or Untoten, but that would mean we'd have 5 versions of Noct if you count that. I don't though. There are 4 Shinonumas, most reused map. Vanguard did it best. Number 30 is Voyage of Despair, down from 19 last time. So here's the deal with Voyage of Despair. It is a bad layout. That is just the reason that it fell down further. That's the reason it can't be higher than it is right now. They wanted realism, and they got it. But realism doesn't always mean it's going to be great. And Voyage of Despair is the example for that. It's the poster child of realism does not always equal perfection. This layout sucks. It is confusing, it's convoluted, it's annoying to get pretty much anywhere in the map. It takes forever. But the reason I still like this map is because it appeals to my interests. Yes, this is my list, don't forget that. Astronomy, I'm a big into astronomy and astrophysics. I love that kind of stuff. It's interesting to me. So them having the planet shooting step and things being related to astronomy throughout the Easter egg is awesome for me. It gets me interested, I like it, it's fun. It also has one of the best boss fights ever. A super cool cinematic fight. It's a great end to the map once you get there. It is just a bit annoying to get there because you're running around so much through this layout. That's the biggest problem with Voyage, is its layout. Number 29 is 5, down from 27 last time. 5 is a map that is challenging. It is difficult to play, especially when you look at it from back in the day when it came out in Black Ops 1. It had Kino der Toten to go against. Yeah, it's going to lose most of the time in that argument because people are going to flock to the more simple map. We've seen it happen even just recently with Liberty Falls versus Terminus. Liberty Falls is allegedly the most played zombies map ever. Why? Because it's simple and easier for people to get into, and therefore more people are going to play it more often. It happens. The same thing happened with Kino and 5. More people played Kino easily. but 5 is still a legendary map on its own. It's got a great celebrity cast, it has great presence. You just feel like, oh fuck, I'm in the Pentagon, I've got to deal with the zombie outbreak here. Then you hear the Pentagon thief spawning in, and you're like, what the hell is happening? He comes in, takes your gun from you, and you're just chasing him like, please, give me my gun back. I need that for when the zombies return, please. It's really fun. It's really cool. It's hard to do. You're going to get destroyed the first time you face him because you don't know what's coming. But then you know, okay, I need to have a bad gun ready, and then in my backup slot have a really good weapon so that when he takes it, I can chase him down and take him out and get my gun back and then continue on into the next round without being completely screwed. It is a tough map, but it is really fun, and I do appreciate 5, even though it is difficult. It does great things for zombies, and I wish that more maps would be these unique settings, unique casts. Oftentimes those maps are actually some of the better maps, so hopefully there's more of that in the future, but for now, 5 is here at 29. It's a good survival map, and crazy enough, I put it over Kino, which years ago I never would have done. Quite the fall from glory. D Machine is at 28, all the way down from my 10th spot last time. It dropped out of the top 10 pretty hard. And again, Black Ops 6, that's the reason. D Machine is still my favorite map from Cold War. It is fun to play, it's bright and fun to look at. I enjoy the look that they went for there. The visual fidelity of the game itself sucks, but this map still looks good within those confines. I like the Wonder Weapon, I like the 4 upgrades for the Wonder Weapon. The Easter egg is pretty simple to do, but it was fun for me to speedrun it, which is something I never do. But in this case, I made the exception, and when it was out first, I was just going at it, trying to speedrun. I gave up pretty quick, admittedly, but I had fun going after it for a while to see what I could do. It made me want to play zombies a bunch for a little while before I kind of burned out of Cold War pretty quickly, but D Machine has great elements. It's fun to play, cool Easter egg. The boss fight, oh wait, it doesn't have one. That's a big downside to this map, but it still has a cool final encounter, so at least it has that. But it was a good introduction to the new modern zombies mechanics, and I think it is a map that handles itself well and handles the Cold War style still the best to this day. Number 27 is Shattered Vale. Shattered Vale is a map that I never understood the hype for. When it came out, there were people saying it is S tier, top tier map, better than any of the other Black Ops 6 maps, and I don't see it. It's a good map, clearly, based on where I put it here, but I don't put it in the greats or best category at all. It's pretty run-of-the-mill. It's a mansion, it's not very visually interesting. It is a good layout, has a reused Wonder Weapon of the ray gun with the variants, 2 of them being from Alpha Omega, and then the third one being a new one, which thank you for at least one new variant, but why not make it a total of 4 versions of it in the map? Why just 3? I don't totally get it. I liked how the Easter egg introduced different parts of the map through liminal spaces, as well as the tunnel you have to expose by blowing up the debris in front of it. Those areas are really cool, and I love when maps add unique areas specifically for the Easter egg. That is a well-appreciated feature. It's got the Z-Rex, which is a very boring boss fight. Sorry, I don't get why people really love the Z-Rex and Shattered Vale so much. The Z-Rex boss fight, the first time I did it, I was falling asleep halfway through. Not very interesting. It's a very simple fight. There's not really mechanics to it. I like when there's mechanics that change up the fight throughout it. Shattered Vale is fun. I enjoy doing it. It doesn't have boss spam like the other Black Ops 6 maps, which is well appreciated. I just don't enjoy it quite as much as other people seem to, but I still like it. So here it is at 27. Number 26 is Kino der Toten from Black Ops 3, down a spot from 25 last time. There isn't a ton to say about Kino der Toten in Black Ops 3 other than it looks better than Black Ops 1 and it has better weaponry than Black Ops 1. It also has gobblegums. Those 3 things put together makes the Black Ops 3 version much better in my opinion. I would prefer to play this one. It's more fun, it's easier to look at, it's nicer on the eyes, and therefore I put it here at 26. 25 is Moon from Black Ops 3, up 1 spot from 26 last time. Black Ops 3 Moon looks so much better than Black Ops 1. That alone makes it better, but it also again benefits from the better weaponry in Black Ops 3 compared to Black Ops 1. The other part of it that's better is that they cleaned up the Easter egg a bit and made it more doable for a solo player, as in, well, it is doable solo, so yay. That's awesome because I'm usually a solo player. Moon Black Ops 3 took everything that Moon did, made it look better, and made it more fun to do. So that is why it is better than the original, and right here at 25. Those last 2 Chronicles editions were improvements, so let's talk about number 24, Origins from Black Ops 3, which is at the same exact spot from last year. However, it is much lesser than its original Origins, which we will get to later in the video. It looks better, yep, but everything else about the map plays the same outside of the Easter egg, in which case It's actually just harder to do. It's more tedious when you have to upgrade all of the staffs. You could cheese it before, and I am saying cheese is good in this case. We're going to say that that's a benefit to the map, not having to do every staff. You can still do the Easter egg by just, doing the fire staff trick. That is the reason that this one is here. There's really nothing about the Black Ops 3 version that's better outside of looks. It still plays basically the same. It's still got good weapons that were there originally in Black Ops 2, so it's not like you gained this brand new arsenal of weapons anyway. MG08's there, Boomhilda is there, those things that you already want are there, the Raygun Mark II is there, the stabs are of course there as well. So there's not really a reason to flock to the Black Ops 3 version unless you're just looking to play Origins more casually, but that's not even an option. Just if you're not trying to do the Easter egg, sure, the Black Ops 3 version is better, but if you want to do the Easter egg, then the Black Ops 2 version, the original, is far superior, which is why it is going to be much higher. Spoiler alert! Number 23 is Ascension, also at the exact same spot from last time, which was 23. Ascension is a great map that I play as a survival map because it does have an Easter egg, but that's only doable for player, which means I can't fucking do it. Anyway, I like Ascension a lot. It's really fun, great map. The monkeys are the thing that everyone complains about, and I don't understand it. They're not that big of a deal. I played a 4-hour session. I don't even know how long I played. I played for a very long time and never once lost a perk. You just have to be on your A game. Know what perks you have, know where they are, go defend them. It will tell you on the icon which one they're at right now. Go over there and get the monkeys off. If you don't see them on one right now, run around until you find a monkey. I think they're a pretty negligible mini-boss, and they're enjoyable to deal with. They're different. I mean, they're not my favorite thing ever, but they're not like this map-ruining thing that people make them out to be. It's great for high rounds. If you want to get into high rounds, play Ascension. It's a fun map, easy to get into. I'm all about it. Number 22 is Revelations, down one spot from 21 last time. Revelations is the nostalgia bait map of the century. It is just maps mashed together, and I like it. I like that the layout is a bunch of maps we've seen before, bouncing between these islands. It feels ethereal. It feels grand. It feels amazing to look at and play and be inside of this map with the Apothicons floating around and doing their thing. It is a great map in that regard. Where it struggles is through its Easter egg. And its boss fight for that matter. The Easter egg is so convoluted and annoying to do. It's way too dependent on the box. You have to get the Arnies, you have to get the Apothicon Servant, then you have to upgrade the Apothicon Servant, then you have to get the Arnies thrown into the holes of the Apothicon inside of it, but then you have to wait for max ammos every time you want to do that, so it takes a long time to get through that step. There's just a lot of BS of sitting around waiting for the box, or waiting for a max ammo, or waiting for this or that or the other thing. It just takes a long time to get what you want out of the Easter egg. Then the boss fight, it's a cool arena. The fight is cool up until the point where you, again, fight the Shadow Man, and it's just like Shadows of Evil, which is basically not a boss fight at all. It feels so lackluster for that to be the final encounter, is him just kind of bouncing around, and then you shoot him there a little bit, you shoot him there. It doesn't even feel like you're fighting him. It's very boring. I wish that they did better with this final Easter egg and boss fight. But the map is so epic that it makes it hard for me to put it much lower than this, because it is so awesome to be in. I really wish it could have been higher. The narrative is cool, the map itself is cool, but that Easter egg and boss fight prevent it from going higher into that S tier of maps. It's more of like an A-B area. Number 21 is Ascension from Black Ops 3, down from 20 last time. This is just Ascension, but looking better and having more options for perks. I think that this is a great remaster because it takes exactly what the map was before, maintains its identity, and gives it a little bit of improvement that people wanted. In this case, that improvement people wanted was around the monkeys. Personally, again, like I said before, they were never a big deal for me. They aren't a big deal for me now. But if you have problems with them, you can use your nuke power up through Gobblegums to give yourself a free pass on that round, which is helpful for those who want to do that. And of course, it's Black Ops 3, so you can Alt F4 and save your Gobblegums after the fact. It's never been a big issue for me, but it is better for those who have an issue with it. And I will say that Ascension Black Ops 3 is a touch better than Ascension, which is why it's just a little bit above it here. Number 20 is Citadel Daymore. Citadel was a map that came out and had quite a lot of hype behind it. It was fast after the release. It had a new set of wonder weapons. It had its own boss. It had a new mini boss. There were a lot of things that people were interested in with this map when it came out. It is still a very good map at this point in time. However, the issue being it's in Black Ops 6, so it isn't going to be quite as good as the top dogs, but it can still be a great map, and that is what it is. I think they could have expanded more on the castle layout of this map. You don't really do that much with the castle, to be completely honest, but the parts you do in there are cool. The 4 elemental wonder weapons being swords is amazing. Pairing that with melee macchiato, amazing, great choice. I am all about that set of wonder weapons. I think they're some of my favorite just because of the identity that they bring to the map. The Doppelgast, the first time being on this map, it's a fast enemy in a tight space, but it's not super hard to kill. Too bad they spammed it in every map after this, but they were introduced here, so they get some credit for that. It's the other map's fault for reusing them over and over again. I like Citadel. I think it's got a pretty cool Easter egg, relatively simple, but a little bit better than the other very simple Easter eggs of Cold War and some other Black Ops 6 maps. And its boss fight is pretty good. It's simple, not a hard boss fight, but I like it. It's a very cool arena, so I appreciate that part of it. Citadel's a great map, and I am happy that Black Ops 6 had 2 good maps at the start of it. Number 19 is Der Riese, previously 17. It's a classic map. This is where the zombies formula was truly born for the first time. Sure, Nocturne and Toten started things, and then it was iterated on 2 more times before it finally hit its stride in Der Riese. Now, you go into a map, you get the power on, you open the Pack-a-Punch, and you upgrade your weapons, get perks, and survive as long as you can by either training or camping. This map had all of that. It brought it all together and perfectly ended World at War. I think it's an amazing map, easily the best off of World at War, and for that, it is going to be here at 19. It has earned its honor being this high. 18 is Tag der Toten, up from 22. Tag der Toten has a bit of a complicated history, but for me, it's become pretty clear what it is through time. It is a map that has a lot going on, it has a great story behind it, and it was unfortunately squandered by the fact that Black Ops 4 was ditched so early in its development and post-launch support cycle. Tag der Toten is fun to play. It is a large map, which is hard to navigate the first few times that you're playing it. Even though it's a familiar Call of the Dead location, it is a bit daunting to go through this map. Once you get through that though, you find that the map is really fun. It is really fun to play, and really my only complaint when it comes to navigating this map is the dynamite. It's not a big deal, I just don't like it, alright? Hot take. I don't know if that's a hot take. Honestly, I have no idea if that's a hot take at all. But I don't like the dynamite because it's stupid. I'd rather just pay for a door. And there's only a few dynamite doors on the map anyway. But I have to waste time grabbing snowballs to hit fire zombies to then have them drop parts. And have to do that 3 times to get 1 set of dynamite. And then I have to do that 3 more times to get another dynamite. It's just annoying. It's not hard. But it's like, why did I do this when you could have just made it a paid door or have that path open the whole time? That's the only thing I don't like about the navigation. Its wonder weapons, the Sniper Wunderwaffe was originally hated, but it turns out it's actually cracked. The Tundra Gun is also cracked because they buffed it. Both of these wonder weapons are really fun to use. They also have the Samantha music box, which is not amazing, but it's different. I like it, it's unique, and it's pretty good. The Easter egg, I like the Easter egg. My issue with it is the long sequences where you're just standing there listening to dialogue. I like the story of zombies, but I like when it's told throughout the map in a more fluid manner or in cutscenes. I'm perfectly okay with either of those. I don't like when an Easter egg just makes me sit there and listen to dialogue for a few minutes at a time, multiple times throughout the Easter egg. It's not as enjoyable. I wish it was done a little more fluidly. Outside of all of that, this map is fun to high round. It's fun to do the Easter egg on. It's an intense Easter egg. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually have a boss fight. It's more of a final encounter, which is simple and not very fun, but the story is really good, and that's a big part of what makes this map so enjoyable, is that you can look back on it as this was the end of Aether before Dark Aether and all that stuff started coming up, but this was the end of Aether, and it was a really good way to end that story. It's a great map with callbacks to things like Pablo, which you never thought you'd hear from him again, but suddenly he is here helping you throughout this map as a hermit. It's a cool map. And for me, I think it's something that gets a bit overhated just because it's a part of Black Ops 4 and people generally don't like Black Ops 4 that much. I think Tag der Toten is a really good map that deserves more praise. Number 17 is Terminus. Terminus was an incredible way to start Black Ops 6, and I wish that more maps took inspiration from it. It has a unique location, it's fun to look at, it's got a different mood than most of the other maps that Modern Zombies has given, which is usually just facilities, boring, very much basic color palette. But this one, it's a little bit different, a little bit green. It's big, it's open. There's a boat that you can take to different islands and island hop, and you'll be chased by the boss of the map if you do so. There's a lot going on in Terminus just within the layout, and then you can go and do the Easter egg, which is fairly simple, I will admit. It ultimately is quite similar to many of the Cold War Easter eggs. It's very simple, it's straightforward, there's not a lot of steps, but there was a little bit more that we could work with compared to previous games. Now we had some codes to decipher, we had things we had to go collect and go to different areas of the map and do specialized steps like the lockdown sequence on the boat and then repairing the lines, going to different islands to do that, defusing the bombs. There was just a little bit more. So in terms of stepping up between Cold War and Black Ops 6 for Easter eggs, it was a slight improvement, but it's a good step. So I'm glad that Terminus took that step forward. Where Terminus really shines and what I love the most about it is with its Patient 13 boss fight. I admittedly haven't sat down and thought about every single boss fight in Zombies, but I can say that right now, Patient 13 is certainly near the top, potentially the top, but probably not that high. Either way, it is near the top. It's an incredible boss fight that I find incredibly fun to do. It's got amazing music, the boss looks sick, there are actually mechanics in the fight that you have to monitor and make sure you're keeping track of. I know the fight can be cheesed, but I don't want to cheese it because I actually want to enjoy working through the steps, learning the different attacks that he's going to do, being ready to avoid his wipe mechanic. That makes me, somebody who used to play Destiny all the time, feel like I'm doing a mini raid because it's like, oh no, you gotta hide, the boss is doing the wipe thing, and then you run and you try to hide and then you pop back out and you do damage to the boss. Those type of things are awesome. So for that, Patient 13 and Terminus have made me enjoy it a ton. I just love that side of the map. Of course, there are issues with Terminus, but most of those issues are going to be chalked up to the game that they're in / just modern zombies in general. For example, just a quick one is the boss spam. Yeah, it's annoying as shit. The amalgam is cool, but it's annoying seeing him the whole match and 15 manglers around it eventually once you get deeper into the game. That's pretty annoying. So I can't say that I love that part of the map. I generally don't like it at all, but the rest of the map is so good that I still enjoy the map even though it has some annoyances for me. So I leave Terminus up pretty high because I like it. And I know that people are going to hate that I put a Modern Zombies map this high. Sorry, there's still one higher. Number 16 is Zetsubo no Shima, down from 13. It is interesting that these two maps ended up next to each other because ultimately Terminus is the modern version of a Zetsubo no Shima, and I still like the original more. That's why it is a tick above Terminus. Zetsubo is a wonderful map. It looks amazing. It's fun to play. It has multiple boss fights, really just two, but most maps only have one, so it's nice to see that this has two, which is also similar to Terminus, which had Nathan and Patient 13. Here in Zetsubo, you've got the spider boss, and then you also have the tree boss, which is not very entertaining, but it's still there. Two bosses, awesome. It's the way to introduce how Widow's Wine is in the Zombies universe. Kill the big spider, take its venom, or whatever the hell, its silk webs, you become now Widow's Wind up. Zetsubo is a tough map. It's one of the harder maps in Black Ops 3, and a lot of that is because there's just so much going on. There are so many buildables and things to monitor and things you need to be thinking about getting. Do you want to get the gas mask? You got to know how to get the parts. Do you want the shield? You got to find the parts. Do you want to turn on power? You got to know what water to get and put it where. There are a lot of things to learn about this map, but once you do learn them, it is a very rewarding map, especially once you get your hands on something like the KT4/Masamune. That is a wonderful wonder weapon that works extremely well against the boss of the map, which is the Thrasher. This is something that we don't really have much of nowadays, which is unfortunate that the map-specific wonder weapon is also really good at taking out the map-specific mini-boss. That is something I wish more maps would do, and this is a great example of that. You take a charged shot at a Thrasher, 99% of the time, it's going down. There is, of course, story elements with this map being related to Takio, and he was a character that didn't get a ton of development, so it was nice to see that he got a chance to shine in this map. The Easter egg is actually a very simple one. There's not much going on. It just takes a long time because of a lot of the plant growing you have to do, which is a pet peeve of mine in Easter eggs when there are a lot of steps that are round gated where you have to just kind of sit around and wait. That is an unfortunate part of Zetsubo, but it does not make it a bad Easter egg in this case. It is still an enjoyable enough map where that does not become a problem. I think that Zetsubo was a map that I never gave much of a chance to, but now that I have gone back and I've spent more time in it over the years, I've begun to appreciate it a lot more. It is still not my favorite Black Ops 3 map, but it is still a really good map, and as you can see, is near the top of my rankings. Number 15 is Reckoning. Okay, here it is. This is the highest ranked Modern Zombies map that I have, and I know that this one's going to be controversial, but it is my favorite Black Ops 6 map, and this is why. Okay, before I say why, I did make a full video explaining it, so if you want more details, go there. I'm just going to give a summarized version of that now. Reckoning did the small things right. Yes, its story was dog shit, but everything else I did like quite a lot. The layout of the map is not an issue. I don't understand why that is such a big talking point, or at least it was. I'm not sure now if people have gotten used to it, but at the time, a lot of people did not like the layout. I think it works perfectly fine. It doesn't totally feel that vertical, but it is still good, and I like moving around this map. It's easy to find where you're trying to go. It does not have the best atmosphere out of any Zombies map, but it has some decent things. It is still a facility, but it is done in a slightly different way, so could be better, but it also definitely could be worse, and we've seen it before. The little things it does right is that something like Pack-a-Punch is not as simple as just walk into a room and there it is. You walk into a room, you gotta turn on the particle accelerator. It fails. You gotta shoot crystals to activate the Pack-a-Punch again. Once it's running, now the thing is floating up and down with intermittent gravity spikes, and when it's floating, it is also teleporting between the four corners of the room. I know, all the things I just said are incredibly small, but it makes the map have more character. Yes, this is the map where that Pack-a-Punch, it floats around, and sometimes you have to jump and leap to reach it and Pack-a-Punch your gun, and sometimes it's going to teleport right before you get to it, so you got to quick turn around and try to get over there, while you might have zombies chasing you in the low gravity area. All of those things are very good. On top of that, the Pack-a-Punch camo is amazing. I love looking at it. I couldn't stop inspecting my gun when I played this map for the first few times. The music within Reckoning is also really good, and that's an important part of maps that gets underappreciated, I think. The music was really good and entertaining to listen to. It had the Commando Klauses, which are going to chase you and try to blow up on your face. You have the Uber Klaus, which is tanky as hell, which is a little annoying, but still a new enemy. His ranged attack is insanely OP, so you really have to be focused on what he's doing. Then he breaks off and becomes the Uber Klaus Core, which is another enemy type. The Gorgofex is a cool wonder weapon. Not the best thing on planet Earth, but it is really fun to use, and that is important more than being super good half of the time. It has something like the caster turrets, which can be upgraded. That is awesome having an upgradable trap and adds more flavor to the map. One of my favorite parts of the map is the Easter egg itself. It felt a lot more like an older style Easter egg where there are just some steps that are weird. And I'm okay with that. I gotta take a head and stick it in a fucking mop bucket to cleanse it or whatever. And then when I pick it up, I have to make it become a soul box, and I'm being chased by a gas cloud that's angry the entire time. Awesome. I don't care. That doesn't make any sense to me. I do not care. That's fun. I gotta take a brain and run it up to a computer that Klaus is monitoring. Awesome. I don't care. That's cool. There are parts to the Easter egg that are fun to do. And then you have the boss fights. Yeah, plural. There's 2 of them. That's awesome. You get to choose if you're gonna fight Sam or fight Richtofen. Sam is a difficult, but not too difficult boss fight. Once you learn what she's gonna do, it's straightforward compared to Richtofen, who is a nut. This guy starts in a Uber Klaus suit and is Uber Richtofen, and then when you get him out of there, that's when the fun begins, because he just flies around with a Wunderwaffe doing air raid strikes and destroying you and your entire family lineage all at once. He is insane, but beating him is incredibly rewarding, and oh my god, it's difficult, but that's why it's rewarding. I like so much about Reckoning, and the one thing I don't like is the story, which I have said before in this video doesn't necessarily make a map bad, but it does make the map less good. This map could have been top 10 if it had a good story behind it, but unfortunately it was the climax to Black Ops 6 and it felt like nothing fucking happened. It was a very, very disappointing letdown for story, but the map was really fun to play and it reinvigorated me to play zombies. That is why I am making this video. That's why I made a bunch of videos recently, because I was pretty beat down near the end of Black Ops 6, but this map sparked me back into it, and now we're here. So I leave Reckoning up at 15. I am ready to hear you all scream and yell at me for that. Number 14 is the Giant, exactly where it was last time. I know not everybody thinks that the Giant is the best version of Der Riese, but for me, it is. It is the best looking, best feeling, and most enjoyable. This has the most to do out of any of the Der Riese versions, and I tend to like having more things to do, so it is nice having the Origins Head quest that you can do to unlock an extra perk, which is not a very good perk, but it's still something you can do. You can also work to get the Annihilator, which is also not good, but it is something you can do. So for me, it's just little extra objectives that I can do along the way. But it is still Darius at heart, and so it is fun to play. It's fun to hop in, go get power, get your teleporters linked, grab Pack-a-Punch, and then just hang out. Train, use the catwalk. You can use the Wonder Waff, which looks just amazing in this map. The visual style they put on that thing is so good. I love this version of Darius, and it is a map that I spent a lot of time on at the release of Black Ops 3, just as I wanted to get better at Black Ops 3, and Shadows was tough, so I like Shadows, but I did not want to spend my time getting used to the Black Ops 3 systems and gobblegums on a different map. So I spent a lot of time here, and it's a map that I truly appreciate and think is a very good map, and definitely my favorite map that is more of a strictly survival map. The Giant at 14 feels right for me, and that is where I'm going to leave it. 13 is Call of the Dead, up from 16 last time. Call of the Dead has two things that I don't like about it. One is that the scavenger is not infinite damage. I know you've all heard that before. The other thing that I don't like about Call of the Dead is actually something I also do like about Call of the Dead, and that's George Romero. I like that he's here in terms of adding character to the map. I don't like that he's here in terms of he pisses me off. I know that's controversial, but hear me out for a second. At least understand where I'm coming from. You don't have to agree, but just understand where I'm coming from. George acts as a reward system if you are able to defeat him. At any other point in the map, he is just a nuisance. He's not necessarily difficult to deal with because as soon as you enrage him, you can just run to some water. But he is very easy to enrage on complete accident and can cause you issues. He is tanky, so when you do finally eliminate him, it's going to have taken a while. Don't worry though, that as soon as you do defeat him, he's going to come back shortly after that, and you're going to have to do this whole process again, and the reward for doing that is not super helpful throughout the entirety of the match. It's not worth it to me to have to keep eliminating him. I find that a bit frustrating, but I still like what he does for the character of the map. Just hearing him cackle and talk and whatever as he's walking around, and just seeing him looming in the distance through the fog and the snow is awesome. So I'm in a bit of a mixed bag here. I generally could do without him, but I'm still happy that he's here. It's kind of a weird situation for that. Everything else about Call of the Dead I love. It looks amazing, it's got a great layout, it's pretty expansive. It is the most expensive map to open in terms of door costs for a long time in Call of Duty. It does not get topped again for many years after it came out. It is a map that has a lot of aura. I know we hear that all the time now, but this is a map with a lot of aura. It's got a great stage presence, if you will. When you get in there, you feel like it is a foreboding monster ahead of you, and it is. It's going to kick your ass half of the time, but that is part of the fun. The icy waters, you got to use them, but you also have to avoid being in them for too long because, you know, you're going to freeze and you're going to go down. There's a lot to this map that I enjoy. The scavenger is really cool. The VR-11 is useless. We don't talk about it. The weapon selection is Black Ops 1 weapons, so they're pretty ass, but again, you have the scavenger, so who really cares? The high rounding scene is not my thing, but it is fascinating to watch the people in the community of high rounds try to crack this map and figure out how to beat it, which eventually was figured out. Took 10 plus years, I think, for somebody to hit 100, which is incredible that people kept trying for so long, and even more incredible that they were able to find a strategy so long after the map came out. There is a reason that people were still trying to do it, and that's because Call of the Dead is a loved map. It is a very good map, and it is going to be at 13. Number 12 is Buried, up from 18 last time. I recently set out to make a video about Buried, and in doing so, I realized I loved Buried even more than I originally remembered that I did. I spent a lot more time in the map looking for the things I wanted to talk about in that video, and because I spent so much more time in the map, I just realized I was having a great time during the play sessions. There is so much there, and none of it is overwhelming. There is so much to learn and so much to do, but it's not done in a way that is super complex or difficult. The game kind of holds your hand in a way and shows you how to use the new features, but not in a way of doing the modern zombies thing that people hate, where it's like, here's an objective marker, go there and do the thing. It shows you what to do by basically cornering you. When you spawn, you slide down, and right away in front of you is a wall buy that you have to take and draw in. Now you understand how to do that. When you're walking around the spawn area, you're going to end up by Leroy just because you're going to walk in there at some point and fall through the roof. Now you're in the room, it shows you how to get him. You open the cage, then you see the booze, you give him the booze, you see what he does, and now you know that if you can get more booze, you can open more barricades and get more money. It shows you how to do it. It doesn't just tell you how to do it. On top of that, Leroy is useful for so many things like building up points, opening barricades, locking in the box, holding a crawler, building the buildables for you. There are a lot of things that just he can do that don't exist on any other map. Then you've got Vulture Aid, which is an amazing perk that I am so glad is finally back. You've got the ghosts, which take your money, and those are creepy, but also a cool feature. The maze is entirely unique and a great way to get to Pack-a-Punch. The fact that this map was a town that existed on the surface and then got shoved underground and now this is where we are is awesome too. It's an old western town, so having the bank is awesome. You also have the weapon locker where you can store weapons and use them in your next match. So many things going on, and all of them are so fun to engage with. Then you've got the Paralyzer, which is an incredible wonder weapon, one of the most unique ever made. The high round strat is probably one of my biggest pitfalls with this map, is that I don't really enjoy the fact that I gotta sit in a little alley with traps, and that's basically the only way to get there. However, the rest of the map is so good that even if I'm not doing a high round, I'm just having a ton of fun being in the map. It also has a great split Easter egg and one of the most memorable final steps with the Sharpshooter. Buried is an incredible map, and I am so glad that it exists because it saved the quote-unquote Zelensky model and showed that it had potential. It just failed in its first 2 Black Ops 2 runs with Transit and Die Rise. Number 11 is Rave in the Redwoods, up 1 spot from 12 last time. You have no idea how badly I want to put this map in the top 10, and maybe one day I will eventually do it, but we're not quite there yet. Still so close. The saddest part about this map is that I didn't play it really at release. I kinda gave up on Infinite Warfare after Spaceland, and I liked Spaceland a lot, but I didn't come back for much after that, and I basically didn't remember Rave at all until I was going to make this video last year. I started playing every single map again, and now that I have played it then, I love it still now. It is an incredible map. It has a very simple layout. Basically, it's just a circle with one central POI, which is the spawn, and you run around and you go to the different areas, and they're just set up like a camp that you would see a bunch of people at in a movie, basically, is what it feels like. You go and walk around this map, it looks awesome, and then you enter the Rave mode, and it looks amazing. In the Rave mode, it is the best visual effect that Zombies has had ever. It looks amazing. It is so fun and so this map, it just screams that I am playing Rave in the Redwoods. It is awesome for that. It has its identity nailed to a T. Speaking of its identity, it has the slasher who's going to chase you with a chainsaw, and when he spawns, you hear him and you shit your pants. He is awesome and looks amazing when he's also in the Rave mode, and he is dangerous. If you let him get close to you, there's a good chance you're going down. You have to pay attention to him. The map has 4 elemental wonder weapons, if you want to call them elementals. They're the crossbows, and those are all fun to upgrade and use. I love the Acid Rain one personally. I think it's the most fun and definitely the most useful in my opinion. This map has a simple Easter egg, but it pairs it with one of the best boss fights ever. It is in Rave mode for most of the fight. It looks amazing. The boss you're fighting is cool. There are multiple stages to this. I don't know if you've noticed, but I tend to like the boss fights where there are clear defined stages. I think those have the most progression and they feel the most engaging to actually do the fight. I wish that Infinite Warfare was a newer game so I could still convince people to go and play it so that we could go and play the first 2 maps of Infinite Warfare, which are Spaceland and this map, Rave in the Redwoods. With that though, why don't we move into the top 10 of this list? Number 10 is Zombies in Spaceland, which was 9 last time. Spaceland has a lot of great things going for it, and I think the best way to sum it up is that it knows what it wanted to be, and it excelled at doing exactly what it set out to do. It wanted to be a themed map around a certain time period, and it wanted to be a themed map around a theme park. It did both of those things exceptionally well, and it thrives because of that. Every part of this map feels as if you were experiencing this time period, and you're experiencing it through this theme park. I love that it did that, because not every map knows what it wants to be so confidently and sticks to it. Being able to utilize the tokens to get different bonuses and equipment throughout the match is of course helpful, and it's another part of the identity of this map. Having the challenges come through the robot that you build is a nice part of the map as well. It's a pretty large map, not quite as big as I originally thought, from years ago, but it is still a pretty big map and it takes a bit of time to get used to, but once you have it down, it is a nice layout. I do enjoy going around this map. You also, of course, had the introduction of the arcade and as well the Afterlife arcade for if you go down, you can get yourself back by playing games. perfect way to make it so it's not as boring to be the person who died in a round while your friends are doing all the work to survive. It has 4 great wonder weapons that are fun to use. They're pretty strong. Wish they had a little more ammo, but they are fun to use and they're strong, so I appreciate that those are here as well. The Easter egg is not complicated, which is common to the first 2 maps of the game before it got really crazy for the end of the game for some reason, but both ends of the spectrum have merit. Here it is a good, simple Easter egg that leads you into an extremely difficult boss fight with the alien. If you were able to beat that, this map as a whole feels like a great accomplishment to beat, and it is a very fun map. Spaceland is a map, along with Rave in the Redwoods and even some Extinction, that shows that Infinity Ward has the chops to make great side modes. They just don't often do it. They tend to side for doing the more Spec Ops modes, which are also fun at times, but I generally prefer these kinds of modes as a Zombies fan. So I love Spaceland for what it is, and I am very glad that it is here still in my top 10. Number 9 is Shadows of Evil, down from 5 last time. Shadows fell a little bit, and really the reason is that I don't tend to enjoy this map as much as the ones above it. I recognize its merit, I recognize what it does. I clearly like it, it's in my top 10, it's my number 9 spot. I just don't have it as my favorite map ever to play, and it's definitely not my favorite Black Ops 3 map either. Shadows of Evil, kind of like Spaceland, knew exactly what it wanted to do, and it nailed it on many fronts. It was a pocket dimension, a creepy city, and it is infested with these alien-like creatures, which we came to know as apothecans. It has the style, and it rocks it the entire time. It is aesthetically pleasing, one of the best looking maps, because it knows what it wanted to be, and the art style reflects it through and through. Every part of this map adds to its storytelling and its aura. The rituals you are doing 4 times to open up the Pack-a-Punch add to the storytelling as well as the aura of the map, because every single time you do it, you're facing the Keepers or a Margwa or both, and you are constantly wondering, what are these creatures, because it's the first time we've ever seen them. Little did we know that this pocket dimension was actually going to have many similar elements to our own universe eventually, because these things are going to all start bleeding together in the story. But that all started here in Shadows. You have this amazing art style, and then you've got a great arsenal of weapons because it's Black Ops 3, and then you also throw in an apothecant servant and a sword, and you are rocking through this map. It is incredibly fun. You get that apothecant servant, and the first time that you slammed your fist into the rear end of that fucking squid, you're like, something just feels right here, you know? Something just, oh. And then you use it, and it's just a black hole gun. It's insane that they came up with this thing, because it's so overpowered, it's ridiculous. But I love it. The Margwa is one of the best mini-bosses ever made in Zombies, and that's here in Shadows where it started. It's got a relatively complex Easter egg that is pretty fun to complete, including the flag challenge, which is very difficult but fun to do when you get it done. It really should have been able to be done solo because it's a Black Ops 3 map, as the other ones have figured it out at that point, but gotta dock it a little bit, just not too much for that. The reason that I don't enjoy it as much is that I don't really get any satisfaction out of just hopping in to play the map. It's fun, sure, but I would rather play many other maps if I'm just hopping in to play a game of Zombies. If I am going for an Easter egg, if I'm going for a 4-person Easter egg, Shadows of Evil is right at the top of that list. I tend to play solo though, which is why I'm not as interested in this map. I love it, it's amazing, just not one that I'm going to play constantly.
A contender petitions a god. Will they satisfy?
Number 8 is 9. Exactly where it was last time, and I am missing it again by 1 from being able to say that 9 is 9. However, 8 is 9, and 9 is 8. This is where we are right now because 9 is an incredible map. This is where I spent all of my time at the release of Black Ops 4, and honestly, I couldn't even tell you why. I was but a child back then. Okay, I wasn't a child, but I don't know, how long ago was that now? 8 years ago? It's a long time. I don't remember why, but I stuck to 9. I barely touched Blood, I barely touched Classified, I barely touched Voyage. I loved playing 9, and I still to this day love playing 9. It is an incredible arena. Being in there just feels so atmospheric, and it feels like you are a badass, just running around, slaying zombies, slaying Blightfathers, slaying gladiators, marauders, tigers. You're killing everything, and all this crowd, they're just cheering for you. It's a cool experience. This map being completely themed around the chaos elements, and the chaos elements relating to gods of old, makes this map layout very straightforward. It is a central arena, 4 outer posts with upper and lower floors, and they're all interconnected above and below ground, each area themed by a different god. The entire Easter egg is focused on satisfying each of the 4 gods within the map by doing completely different challenges for each of them, all of which are fun in their own unique ways. Ra is challenging because you have to be very specific about what you're killing when. Danu is the easiest one, and it's kind of frustrating because it is a bit buggy when trying to start it, but it's still good. You're just working through the levels, taking out your objectives as you go up. Doing the Zeus challenge is fun. You get to charge up some lightning rods and then do a survival standoff in the middle arena. The Odin challenge has you using the wonder weapon of the map to line up targets perfectly, and then you're doing a final standoff down below in the pit of the map. Then you get to do the boss fight, which is 2 boss fights, both of the same boss, but still cool that they did 2 bosses for this one. You take out the first elephant, and then another one breaks through, and you have to fight a second one. Neither fight is very difficult. It's a very open arena, which makes sense. You're fighting a massive elephant. They need space to move around. It is a fun fight. Not hard, but it's fun, and it is really cool to see yourself taking down this massive, massive boss right in front of your eyes. 9 is a map that I'll always come back to on Black Ops 4 because it is very fun to just play, and then it is also really fun to do the Easter egg for it as well.
A true Russian never surrenders!
Number 7 is Gorod Krovi, down from 4 last time. Essentially, this one goes quite a lot like Shadows of Evil, but I like it more than I do Shadows of Evil. Gorod Krovi is epic. I am somebody who loves dragons. I know, we're gonna do the dragon joke. Okay, Dragon Ball's in my face. Okay, I love dragons. They're really cool. I think that they work great in this zombies map, which I wouldn't have expected, but hey, Treyarch sometimes swings for the fences, and it works. Gorod Krovi is an example of that. You bring back a fan favorite PPSH. You put us in a dragon city. You have us in a city where Nikolai has taken control. Okay, cool. The zombies community is going to love that. Then you give us a new variant of the ray gun, and you make it the Mark III, and it is really good up to a point, being a little black hole gun. Of course, it has a limit, but up to that limit, it's really good. This layout is a little bit complex, something that I still sometimes have issues with after I've had a break with this map for a while. I understand most of where I need to go, but there are times where I'm like, oh crap, where do I gotta go again? It's not the easiest layout, but it's a good map. It's atmospheric, of course. That's what Black Ops 3 is all about. It's all about being atmospheric, which is cool. You know, it looks good. We are definitely missing that these days. It has a lot of unique elements to it. You have Siegfried's Gauntlet, you've got the shield, which is completely unique. You have dragon eggs, which is part of the Easter egg. Then you've got an Easter egg, which is trial-based, like some others are. You got to do different trials to complete it. Just doing something as simple as Pack-a-Punch ends up being this big mission, which ends with you riding a fucking dragon. If that's not the most Treyarch thing I've ever heard, I don't know what is. When you do get to this boss fight, you're assuming that you're just going to fight this dragon and move on with your life. But when you do that, you then realize that Nikolai is not going to go quietly into the night, and you get a second boss fight in your face that you weren't expecting. This makes for an overall amazing boss fight. It's a cool little arena. Fighting 2 completely different bosses, one being a dragon and one being a dude in a mech suit, makes the fights feel different and varied even though it's in the same space. Gorod Krovi does many things well, and I have to say that I love playing it because it is so interesting to experience. It is so unique compared to many other maps. It just does things that no other map would dare to do, and that is the charm of Gorod Krovi. Number 6 is the Final Reich, up from 7. This is my favorite non-Treyarch map, and it has been my favorite non-Treyarch map for a long time. I don't see that changing anytime soon. The Final Reich benefits from being a part of World War II, which has probably the best base mechanics of any zombies game, Treyarch or non-Treyarch, and then you put it into a map that is just incredible. Moving around this map feels great. There's some horror elements thrown in. The enemies that you're fighting in this map, they're all different. They're interesting as they come up. They are freaky as they come up at times too, because each one kind of has its own presence when you see it. They are sometimes difficult to deal with, but not too difficult, and they're not spammed too much, and even if there are multiple of them, they're not the hardest thing to take out. Just a little bit of focus fire, you'll have them down in no time. The weapons that you're using feel heavy and fun and strong. I love that part of it. The Pack-a-Punch feels effective. I like the little camo. It's nothing complex, but it looks good. Then in Final Reich, of course, you've got the wonder weapons, and I love the Tesla gun. That thing is so good, and upgrading it with the, of course, lightning version is just incredible. That thing sounds amazing as it goes and fries enemies. It's satisfying to watch. The visuals of it are amazing. Final Reich, even if it didn't have an Easter egg, would be an incredible map in my eyes because it is simply so fun to play, run around, and slay zombies with the wonder weapon or your own weapons because they are also good to use. But this map does have an Easter egg, and it's a good one at that. It is a guided Easter egg for the first time, and I think that that works really well for this map actually. Of course, it also helps that it does have a hardcore non-guided version as well, so both versions of people who like being guided and those who don't want to be guided have an option on this map. That is perfect. When you do work through this Easter egg, you get to go up into a final boss fight against the Panzermortar, which is an insane looking creature, which is just a mashup of a bunch of zombies all into one towering beast. When you take this thing down, it is satisfying, and you get a final cutscene that sets up the story of the game, and we can just pretend that the rest of the game doesn't really exist, okay? This map is amazing, and it easily earns its top 10 spot. Number 5 is Dead of the Night, up from 11. It was outside the top 10 last time, and now it's at number 5. The more I play Dead of the Night, the more I look into it, the more I love this damn map. Yet another win for Chaos. We have Dead of the Night, which is a mansion map, which is huge. It's not just the mansion, there are areas outside of it as well, and it is a grand looking map. It looks great, I love the visual of it. The layout can be a little bit confusing at times, but after a short while you'll have it under control. This map has multiple enemy types, of course the base zombie, but it also has vampires and werewolves coming at you. Then of course you've got silver bullets to deal with the werewolves, because why wouldn't you? In case you're struggling for some reason with the vampires, you can go on a massive side quest to get a Savage Impaler, which is better against the vampires and dog shit against everything else. But that's just Black Ops 4 Zombies for you. Do major quests for potentially questionable rewards. You're going to find that on Dead of the Night you have one of the best wonder weapons to ever exist in the Alistair's Annihilator, which has 3 stages to its life. Being in the last stage, the 3rd upgrade of it, is just so dang good. I love this thing so much, and it's a randomized wonder weapon, which you may think sounds bad. You don't know what it's going to do when you shoot it. But I tell you this much, doesn't matter what it's going to do if everything it does is broken as shit. The thing about this map that I think sets it apart from most other maps, even the big quest-heavy maps like Black Ops 4 maps, is that it is super well paced in its Easter egg, which is something I made a video about a long time ago now. A long Easter egg can be made to feel short because it is well paced and constantly moving forward. And Dead of the Night is one of the best maps, if not the best maps, at doing this for the player. Each step leads into the next. You can work ahead on steps if you so choose. There are many ways you can tackle this thing, and it isn't going to force you to sit on your ass round after round like some other Easter eggs, Blood of the Dead. So, for that, I have to say this Easter egg is so damn good to do. It of course then leads you to the boss fight against a werewolf, which you had been fighting throughout the whole map, but this one is invisible, and it creates a new layer of threat because of that. It is probably the weakest of the Chaos Story boss fights, but it's still a very good boss fight compared to many others. And that is a great showing of why Chaos is so dang good, is that even when they are faltering a little bit, they're still incredible maps, especially in the boss fights. Dead of the Night is a map that I took a long time to warm up to, but now I love it. Number 4 is Mob of the Dead, down from 3 last time. Mob of the Dead is really the leader when it comes to getting to the golden age of zombies, if you will. It is Mob of the Dead where things started to really turn around for the zombies world. We got a map that was based on a real-life location, and it did it well even when keeping things more realistic. Voyage of Despair missed on that, but it was Mob of the Dead that nailed it and just sent the zombies community into a frenzy when it released. It got the buildable situation under control during Black Ops 2, where it was super annoying to do buildables up until Mob of the Dead when they made it a lot better. It brought in Afterlife, which was a brand new mechanic that was never before seen, and it was only seen in alterations going forward. Not even Blood of the Dead brought it back, which is incredibly disappointing because Afterlife is an incredible mechanic which brought in a new style to how people played zombies, which was to not run quick revive even in solo matches. You would have a free perk slot because if you went down, you would go into Afterlife. This opened up, instead of just the same 4 perks all the time, you could get a new 4th perk. I know they like to avoid the crutch perk idea during the perk limit era, and this was a great way to go about that idea. It brought in the Blundergat with a buildable upgrade, which was the first time that that had been done in zombies, and guess what? It is amazing. The Acid Gat is one of the best wonder weapons in Black Ops 2 and generally in zombies. It's just very fun to use, and it's also effective as a decoy for zombies. Going through this map feels spooky. It feels creepy. It just feels like you are in danger all of the time. And then you fly away. You think you got away, you hit the Golden Gate Bridge, and now you're trapped there. This would be an amazing place to train, except for they made it so no power-ups drop there, knowing that players would just be there exclusively if power-ups were allowed. This makes it so that is a cool area to go to, get your pack-a-punch, but then you're going to want to leave and do the cycle again. And that is a theme of the map, is cycles, which the cycles are covered through the Easter egg. You learn about how your characters are in this prison, and then through that, what they're going to do to get out of it, which ultimately comes down to Weasel versus the rest of them, and either the cycle is going to end or it is going to continue infinitely. It's an incredible Easter egg, and if there's one that I could pick to be, yeah, that makes sense that it is the only one that should be done with multiple players, it is this one, because you need to at least have one other person other than Weasel for it to make any sense. Mob of the Dead started the golden era for zombies, and for that, I have to give it its due thanks. It is an amazing map. Number 3 is Ancient Evil, up from 6 last time. Yeah, Ancient Evil's cracked my top 3. Why? I love it, that's why. This is the map that perfected the Chaos method, perfected the Chaos storytelling, perfected how Chaos and Black Ops 4 work together. I think that it is peak Chaos storytelling, peak Black Ops 4, and damn near peak zombies. It is a beautiful map that has a great overworld and an underworld section that both work together to tell the overall story of the map. Going through this map is just an experience itself, exploring and learning what it all has to offer. It has an awesome zombie shield, which I always appreciate when they change it up, and this was a great example of just making something different. Now you have a different type of ranged attack, which is a spear throw, and then you still have the gladiator type shield for yourself. Very cool setup. You've got a mini boss which is relatively annoying to deal with. He's not too hard, but he is a bit of a bullet sponge, so get ready for that. He won't be as much of a problem if you go ahead and get one of the 4 gauntlets of the map, because these things are awesome. They are some of my favorite wonder weapons in zombies just because of how unique they are. You get a base gauntlet, you upgrade it, and then you finalize it with a full upgrade at the end of all of it, and it becomes this incredible thing. You can be calling in rays of fucking sun from the sky to an area around you, kind of like the score streak from Advanced Warfare, but now it's in zombies and you're controlling it with your fist. Or you can control blood, or you can control wind, or you can be a gardener. All of these gauntlets are really cool, and they all have a strength of their own. You've got Pegasus, who you use to initially get into that underworld area, and then you can unlock the Pegasus Strike, which means you are broken because that thing is insane, and I love it. The only downside is it takes a good few seconds for it to actually start working, which means if you're already in danger, it's going to be hard to get out of that danger before you go down during the animation of placing this thing. When you do finish the Easter egg, you end up in one of the best boss arenas that we have in zombies. 3 floating islands around a center area where the boss hangs out, and you get to bounce between these 3 islands as you initially chase down a corrupted Pegasus. This is where I don't necessarily love this boss fight. It's still really good, but you have to use your specialist to do damage, or you're just not going to do any damage. Like, literally you can't. You have to use the specialist, which is a bit frustrating when they force you to do that. You know, why do I even have these other weapons if I'm just going to have to whip out my specialist every single time? You fight Pegasus, and then you fight Perseus, and then, well, that's the end of Chaos, ultimately. We never got to really see where this was going to go because it was canned before the community took it and ended up loving it like they do now. The interesting part is that Black Ops 6 did kind of reintroduce Chaos, however, it did nothing with it, so I'm really hoping that if they're going to continue with the Chaos elements going into Black Ops 7, that they shape up and actually start telling a story with it instead of doing whatever happened in Black Ops 6. But for Ancient Evil, it's a map that I love and one that I appreciate, and I wish that it was able to continue the Chaos story, but for now, at least it ended on the best map that Chaos made. Number 2 is Origins, exactly where it was last time. I don't even know how much I need to say about Origins at this point. People know this map, people love this map. It was the thing when it came out. I can't even tell you how many times I watched the spoof sort of trailer where they just kept editing Jason Blundell talking about fog rolling in. I don't know if literally anybody else knows about that video, but it was funny as hell to me when I was, I don't know, 12, and I still like to watch it once in a while because it's just funny and brings me back to the good old days. Origins was a monumental map in the zombies world. It was bigger than anything before seen. It was cooler than anything before seen. It was more difficult than almost anything before seen. It took a completely different approach to zombies while also making an exact same approach to zombies, and I don't exactly know how to explain that, but it became the formula for how zombies was going to work for years to come. You have your 4 elemental wonder weapons, you've got the zombie shield, you've got some form of special cool weapon just for that map, this case being the MG08, and then you've got a mini boss which is going to blast your face off as soon as you think you're chill. In this case, the Panzer. You really feel like you are in the middle of a grand war, all the while maybe the people on the outside don't even realize that you're fighting zombies. They're just fighting a war, and you are fighting for your life against the undead. Getting the stabs, doing the upgrades for them, most of that is doing the Easter egg at that point. Then you've got some other side quests that you can do along the way. You can ride the zombie tank, you can jump inside of the 1,000-foot tall robots. There are many things to do, and just taking in the experience and the atmosphere that is this map is a wonderful time. I do truly wish that I could play Origins for the first time again with my friends. This is a map that kicked the zombies community in the balls. When you finished that Easter egg and you saw that cutscene, there were so many questions that people had, and they didn't get answers for a very long time, which just created so much more tension and build up for the next map, which ended up being Shadows of Evil, another great map. Origins, more or less, along with Mob, saved zombies, and it is always probably going to be right up there in the top 5 for most people. For me, it's my number 2. My number 1 is the same number 1 as last year. It's WaW. I want to be very clear. Origins is my number 2 map. I love it dearly. But I think WaW is Origins just ever so slightly done better. And that is why it is right here at number 1. It's hard to top a map like Origins, but I think that WaW does it. It is beautiful to look at. I love the shades of blue and white that fill out this map and just pop off on the screen. I love that the elemental bows are incredibly strong, fun, and not super difficult to upgrade. There is something to be said about making these steps a little bit more logical, like they are here, than they were in Origins. Or at least in my eyes, they're a bit more logical and much easier for me to remember how to do. You have the Ragnaroks and your own zombie shield, and both of these things create a great combination that allows you to survive in fun ways. The Ragnaroks are just straight up fun to use, and then they become integral to the Easter egg. And speaking of the Easter egg, it's my favorite Easter egg in zombies. It is pretty straightforward, has great elements mixing from other maps and its own unique elements. You mix all of these things together, and eventually you have the first ever zombies boss fight. You are fighting an Apothecon, and it is a great arena with clear stages defined by audio cues and visual effects on the boss. All of the things that I already said I love in this video. This map started there and it nailed it right away. It's not the best boss fight ever, but it's great, especially for being the first one ever. WaW is a map that I could play over and over and over again, and I would never hate doing so. I could jump in and I could be like, all right, this time I'm going to do a different bow this time, and I would still have fun using a different bow because they're all good in different ways. I could say, screw it, I'm not even going to do a bow. I'm just going to use the shield, the Ragnaroks, and some box weapons, maybe some wall weapons, and I'm still going to have a fun time because this map is just so enjoyable to play. The Panzer, yeah, it can be difficult, but also if you just focus on him and watch what he's doing, you're going to take him out no problem. The story of this map is great because you're seeing this Richtofen have to deal with the people that the previous Richtofen, the Ultimus Richtofen, already knew, and try to blend in and pretend that it's him, but it's not him because the Primus Richtofen is very different than the Ultimus one, and it just makes for some really fun interactions to hear over the intercom. There are just infinite things I like about this map, and I could go on forever, and I'm not going to here. I'm not going to sit here all day gushing about this map, but suffice to say, it is just great atmosphere, great zombie slaying, great wonder weapons, great Easter egg, and a great boss fight, and the first boss fight. For me, WaW is the top of what Zombies has ever offered, and I love it. So thank you, Treyarch, for bringing this map out, and I do sincerely hope that something will top it one day. And that will do it for the rankings. I originally was going to make this video to hit a year after I made my first one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that done. We are going to find out based on the upload date. But then I decided I didn't really want to do it because I thought it would take too long. And then I said, no, screw it. I'm going to start working on it. So I started working on it, and then they announced that the beta was coming and it was going to have zombies. So I had to put it on pause again and work on the zombies beta and play that and work on a video for it as well. So I kept getting delayed, and I started to think that I wasn't going to get this done at all, maybe, and definitely not on time. but there is still a chance here today that I can get this done before the 14th, I believe was the day that I uploaded my video last year, which was my first ever video, which was a ranking video just like this one you see now. Will I do this again next year? Probably not. I think that this would be something that if I do it again, I would save it for the lead up to the next zombies game. And I know there isn't going to be one next year, so it might be 2 years from now, maybe 3, don't know. We'll see if I even do it again. I do like doing it though, so perhaps I will. We're just going to see how things are going at that point in time. All of that being said, Black Ops 7 is almost here. I am excited to play it. I am really hoping that it's going to be good. At least on the atmosphere and map building side, it seems like they're getting the right things there. I am more concerned about gameplay elements and the story, so we'll see if they can get those things right, but only time will tell. As of right now, I am cautiously optimistic, more so than I was even last year for Black Ops 6, and I ended up really liking Black Ops 6. So hopefully 7 can do well. Wow, that was a lot. We went through a lot of things in this video. Been here for at least 2 hours, I think, at this point. So why don't I let you guys run along, get on with your days, and hopefully see you guys once Black Ops 7 comes out. Now that we're at the end of the video, please go ahead to the comments, tell me what you thought of the video. What would you have changed on these rankings? What do your rankings look like? I'd love to read about it, and I'll try to read every single comment and respond to every single one as well. So go ahead, light up the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for more, and I'm going to, of course, be back for Black Ops 7. I will see you then.